Welcome to Topic Talks, where we talk about the topics you care about and leave out the ones you don't.
We talk about what most news sources don't: media, movies, and the multiverse.
We even invite guests to come talk topics with us.
Come join in on the fun.
Let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Giant Conversation of this Topic Talks. I'm your host, Aaron Klingingsmith, and when I say we have a full studio, I can fit no more people. I'm out of microphones. This is it. So, today, joining us again, we have Mark.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And then we have Lucas.
Hi, I'm back again.
And then we have, I can't
Jake.
remember your name, Jake.
What's up, guys?
So, we have, like I said,
Full studio.
literally a full studio. I cannot fit any more people around this desk
Full stuff.
if I tried.
Well, I am more than happy to sit in your lap.
Nobody is sitting in my
Show.
lap except for my girlfriend.
There you go.
So, okay, so we got a lot to talk about today. And why don't we jump right into the first story, which is going to make me cry.
Catch up, but okay, fine.
You were going to what?
Nothing.
What were you going to do?
Nothing. I was going to say we could catch up, but never mind.
Okay, do you want to catch up?
No, it's fine.
Okay, Lucas, how have you been?
You know how I've been.
How's everyone doing?
I've been all right. What? How's everyone doing but Mark? That's an excellent question.
Well, no. I was going to jump to him next. And then I was going to talk about myself. And then maybe if we
Maybe.
have
Well,
time
really,
to
I
get
was
in.
going to ask how everybody's Easter was, is what I was going to ask.
Full of food.
Well, if you put your microphone closer to your face, people
Oh
could
my
hear
God.
you.
You are.
No, it's just me. It's not God. It's me.
Okay. I'm going to be the nice person here, and I'm going to ask you, how was your Easter?
How was my Easter?
Yes.
It was horrible.
It was horrible?
Why was it
Well, you probably deserved it. Yeah,
Why was it horrible? I
kidding.
thought you just did
So-
with your girlfriend and your grandma.
No, we did. And I bought new shoes, and that was cool. And it just sucked. It sucks because my family really doesn't want to come over.
Your family
On either
doesn't
side,
like each other.
No, okay, so my grandma's side, my Aunt Kathy was in town, and she didn't want to come over.
Oh, that's sad.
And, well, she really didn't have time. And it was just, so there was that. And then when my other side of my family is in town and they get along, they don't want to come to my house. So it's kind of like, well, you know what? At this point, I'm going to build the bar for you guys if you want to come over, and friends. And anybody who doesn't want to come over can just kind of stay the hell away.
I think I remember you were telling me a while back that it's like your family doesn't get fully together very often.
No, Christmas time was the first time that my mom's side of my family has been together in, I think we figured out, about 10 years.
Oh my
And
God.
that's because they're far away from each other, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
my biological sister Terry and her husband and 2 kids live in North Carolina.
Carolina.
Which is good and bad. I mean, I miss them a lot, but my sister's very, she calls me all the time, things like that. And my mom and my stepdad are truckers, so they're gone all the time.
They're truckers?
They are truckers.
Huh.
They ride a big truck and yes. Although they did just get a new route that they'll be spending about a couple days in Michigan,
Nice.
about once a week.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, not at all. And then I've got a couple of sisters that live in Michigan, but we really never see each other. But it's like everybody is never. And so I'm like, okay. They're like, well, why don't you host it at your house? You have the biggest house. I said, okay, cool. This was for Christmas. And he's heard this story before, but so I got a pool table and just kind of there's certain things I put up to the top of the list that I could have done a lot later.
Yeah.
To kind of prepare for this party. And then right when my sister gets here, they all decide, and when I say they all, I mean all my sisters.
Yeah.
Decide it's not going to be at my house.
Oh, that's lovely.
Right. It is going to be at my brother-in-law's mother's house.
Which is where?
In Rochester.
Okay.
Because
not too bad.
Well, but they didn't want to bring all the kids here. And I said I would pack up the I would help. Or, something.
Yeah.
But I am the one, honestly, I'm the one that has the biggest house out of all the kids.
Well, how was the mother-in-law's house at?
I mean, it's decent and it wasn't a bad place, but I don't know. I had to leave because we had to take care of Charlie.
Yeah.
Because we were told no pets. And we were told no drinking.
Well, that's.
Oh, that's
my
And that irritated me because I like to, when I get together with people, I like to, kick back, maybe have a few beers, whatnot.
Especially if it's your family,
Right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't drink.
That's my Christmas, so I feel you
I
right now.
and how I had to do this is I had to go because my girlfriend has a lot of Christmas parties, and there's one that I love to go to because I can drink.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And so what we had to do was we left here, and we went to their party on Christmas Eve. And then we went to her aunt's house. And then I wanted to be with my cousins early Christmas morning. So then early Christmas morning, I went over to their house. And then really kind of didn't feel welcome. But I was there, and I got to see them open up their presents, and that was cool.
Yeah.
And then, it took me, a long time to get home. And then little while later, there was the actual Christmas party with my family. It was, the next day or something. So it was, all right in a row. I spent a night on a couch, just so I could see my cousins open up presents, and it was just a big debacle. And I'm like, you know what? If my family doesn't want to come see my house, that's fine. I am just going to fix up everything how I want it for my friends and the people who do come over and visit me, and everybody else can just kind of shove off.
Right.
Although my sister does, when she comes up from North Carolina, she usually makes a point to stop here.
Yeah.
It's only when her husband is with her that she doesn't come over, because
Okay.
my two brother-in-laws get along way too well. Way too
What do you mean too well?
well. If they were gay, they would probably marry each other.
Okay.
Like-
and they will openly admit that too.
It's just
Yeah.
cringy watching them sometimes.
Well, no,
There's very close guys, and where the fact that they liked each other in that sort of way, they would be with each other in that sort of way.
right.
Well, I've definitely had
and-
some friends like
And
that.
it's great being with them, because when you get my stepdad and my brother-in-laws and I, or at least I thought I was included in that together,
Mm-hmm.
we're pretty crazy. Although I found out the way my some of my family put it, it's just when those three get together, it's crazy. And I'm like, you know what?
You're just a little extra
I'm
crazy.
I'm done. So
It's okay. You're extra crazy.
you're
You're the
Thank you.
you're the side dish of crazy.
Thank
The
you.
side dish.
So you said you couldn't bring your dog there,
Yeah, so I couldn't.
right? And your dog's name is Charlie.
Yes.
Wow. Well, would you look at that? Look what other dog
Yeah,
name is
there you
Charlie.
go. I like that. That was
See?
good. You're learning.
I have better segues than you.
Nah, no.
I'm sorry. I'm due.
Some of mine are bad, but a lot of them are really good. Anyway, so this one may make me cry because the dog has the same name as my dog, and it's very sad. Anyway, so there's this amazing thing that this family did for their animal. I mean, what people do for their animals is awesome. I mean, what I would do for my dog, and I know what you guys would do for your animals that you have at home, is just. I don't think there's an end to what you would do. You do whatever you could, right?
You have a
Right.
dog too. I
My
think I'd
dog-
rescue my dog first, besides the guy next to him on a street.
My dog filleted herself before.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh.
we used to have I'll tell you this before you do it quick.
No, you're good.
So we used to have a boat in my not my garage, my driveway, right? Old 1970 something Mastercraft that my dad bought.
Right.
And when my one dog was probably 2 years old, so she was still puppyish.
Right.
We would play with her on the front. We'd be on the front porch and we'd be throwing a ball, into the yard, this way, that way, whatever. So we threw it over the boat, and she runs around the boat and goes to get the ball. Well, she sees that there's a little opening by the boat,
Uh-oh.
so she crawls underneath the boat. And I wasn't there for this, mind you. I came home and I was told my dog has stitches and
Jeez.
she has a shaved shoulder. She crawled under the boat and either got sliced on the thing that holds the boat, the rigging, or the blades for the
Right.
motor, probably the propeller blades.
Right.
She got filleted at the shoulder,
Ooh.
so it went from the back of her neck down to
That's
where
not
your
good.
lats are basically as a
Right.
human. That's kind of where it was for her. So she came running up, and she was wiggling, I'm sorry, I got she thought we hurt her, or
Yeah,
punished her
makes
for
me
doing
sad
something.
when animals get hurt.
So she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and just this piece of skin and fur is
Ew.
flopping
Oh,
as
that's
she's
not
wiggling
good.
towards my mom and dad. They're like, let's go to the car. Come on, you're bleeding everywhere. Go towards the car. Anyway.
Not
Anyway.
good.
Yeah, so it's amazing what we do for our animals. April actually just lost her childhood dog. They had a Springer Spaniel, and she was getting old. The quality of life had gone down substantially
Yeah.
to the point where her family
Like, couldn't walk upstairs and stuff.
she
still.
couldn't walk upstairs. She could barely get up.
Oh wow.
She had bad hips.
That's
and-
when it's time to.
Well, and it gotten
Yeah.
bad very recently.
Yeah.
And so she went to visit her dog, and kind of see how she was, and it didn't really hit her because every time she went to her parents, the dog would get very active and very happy and
Mm-hmm.
act like her old self
Right.
because her dad was just kind of, I don't know. So they got the dog in kind of a bad point in her dad's life,
Yeah.
so he kind of associates that with
The
this
dog.
dog.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like they're always yelling at her about barking and things like that.
Yeah.
And so she gets really happy when April comes because April has her speak for her food and
Mm-hmm.
plays with her and things like that. So it didn't hit her until the time that she went to visit her.
Yeah.
And then they called and said they were going to put her down, and they had already set the date and what have you. So my girlfriend went, and but it's just a hard thing. And I couldn't even imagine this family. They have a dog named Charlie, and it's a girl. And I guess for her entire life, she acted like she wanted to be a police dog.
Really?
I guess she would show signs Charlie shows signs of being like, we're pretty sure that at some point in his bloodline there
He
was
was.
some form of training.
He's like
Because
a
if
German
you have
Shepherd,
if you
right?
have sleeves,
Yeah.
if you have sleeves, even dark sleeves, he'll try to grab your arm.
Yeah, he did that to me, and I came in because I have a black jacket.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we think it's some form of like police at some point, or just something he picked up at some point, which we don't
Yeah,
know where
it's
he would have picked
possible.
that up at because he's been doing it since he was a puppy.
I mean, my dog's like an Australian Shepherd. He like always like tries to hurt our cat around
it a
the
blue healer?
house. And, oh, what's that?
Is it a blue heeler or no?
What do you mean exactly, blue healer?
Because you've got there's an Australian cattle dogs and then there's Australian shepherds.
Okay.
And a blue heeler is a version of an Australian cattle dog.
Blue heels, they're the ones that got like the salt and pepper kind of fur color, right?
Mine's
It's
just
called.
like
It's
black
technically
and white.
called blue. That gray is called blue.
Okay.
Huh.
That's why they're called an Australian blue heeler.
I don't think I have that one then.
No, he's got
Okay.
Jake's got a different one.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Okay. Anyway. I can't. Anyway, so this dog apparently I always acted like it wanted to be a police dog, and so the owner put forth a good effort to try to train it, with a little help of YouTube. I mean, 'cause,
Yeah.
YouTube's great for everything. And but she never could quite make it. Well, apparently it said this week, but I don't know how old the article. I think the article is fairly new, so it could be about this week. Definitely within this month. They found out that their dog has had a brain tumor.
Aw, poor
And
puppy.
so that that prompted the decision that everybody dreads to make: are they going to have to put her down or not?
Mm-hmm.
So they decided that they were, and they took her out to. She had a great last meal. She went out for burgers. She had ice cream, and then she had ribeye steak.
Which is like one of the best.
I don't even get
I
ribeye
don't
steak.
get that treatment at home.
Right.
Yeah, I know, right?
I can't even afford ribeye steak.
Can I intervene
I'm
for a
sorry.
second?
What?
I remember back when I worked at Olive Garden, we had. I don't think they were putting their dog down. I think this lady just liked to spoil her dog. But they brought their dog in, right?
Right.
And I was
What
working
kind,
in the
what
kitchen.
kind? What kind of dog is it, by the way?
I'm not sure. I think
Was it one of those little ankle biters, or was it a real dog?
I didn't actually get a chance to see it. But for the dog, this lady ordered like one of our best cuts of steak, and on top of that, a side of salmon
Nice.
for the dog,
Nice.
Just for the dog.
just for the
Some
dog.
salmon.
Screw you, lady.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
And
like
the
50
horse
bucks.
My-
dog you might have rode in on.
my my dad, the cat that I grew up with as a child was always the nicest cat in the world. Well, he noticed that she wasn't eating, and he tried switching foods, whatnot,
Yeah.
and she wasn't eating. He took her to the vet, and she had cancer on her liver. She had liver cancer, and so the only thing she would pretty much eat was people food.
That's weird.
Well, no, she just didn't. I don't know why, but she wouldn't eat her cat food.
No, I
And-
don't
and-
mean like that.
And
bad,
so the vet was like, well, if she'll eat it, feed it to her.
Never seen
Yeah.
a cat
It's
eat
at
people
this
food.
point, it's not gonna hurt her.
yeah, she got,
So,
she got cancer.
For the last year to 2 years of her life, she ate bacon, steak,
Screw you, cat.
hamburgers,
That's like
But
ground it up or something.
whatever
right?
my dad. No, I
Really?
mean he would break it up into pieces, but he wouldn't ground it up.
Huh.
But whatever my dad ate, he would make two of, and one for her, one for him. Or he'd make bacon and keep it in the fridge just to give her.
That lucky cat.
It's like
Oh, she ate like a
Garfield.
queen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
no
she's,
kidding.
And she started to get really aggressive near the end, and
Probably
She's
called
like, this
it
food's
meat.
not good
Give
enough.
me more bacon.
well, no,
Turning
it
into
was she was in a
saber
lot of
tooth.
pain, is what it was,
Yeah, yeah.
and she was getting thinner, and I mean she was eating, but she was still getting thinner and
Yeah.
weaker, and so my dad put her down. But yeah, and actually there's another story my girlfriend told me, where there was this girl that was gonna put her dog down, and so she rented a cabin for the weekend. You know, kind of like one good last really like weekend.
One good trip with the dog.
Right. So she went to this cabin, and in the cabin they have these books they have this book where for everybody who's visited, and they write a
Yeah.
little story. And she wrote in the book, how she brought her dog out for one last visit, and just the note she wrote was it almost
Heartfelt.
made me cry.
Yeah.
And so this is an actual thing. I mean, I think pretty sure my girlfriend and her family took their dog out for like some ice cream or some spoils,
Mm-hmm.
made him feel pretty good. And so this is a thing. Anyway, so they took her out for burgers and all the other cool stuff. And while they were out, they saw a police officer. And they got a really cool idea. So they approached this police officer and asked if he would pose with the dog and take a picture and explain, our dog has always acted like she wanted to be, a police dog. So,
But couldn't quite make the mark, right?
right, but couldn't quite make the mark. So what he did is they took a picture.
Yep.
He posted it on either Facebook or Twitter.
It looks like the police department's personal
Yeah,
Facebook.
the police department's personal Facebook, introducing her as their newest canine member.
Aww.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
I know. So her dream of being a police dog was finally fulfilled.
That's sweet.
So yeah, I'm crying over
Yeah,
here.
it's nice.
Hey, you get a little misty over there.
Little
Don't
misty.
make sure your glasses you see through your glasses.
Here, have some Kleenex.
No, I'm good.
Did they say though, why exactly this dog couldn't make it into the force? You said
They
it couldn't meet
they
up
never
to certain
said.
things?
They just said that. I don't know. It could have been the fact that he was just training her himself,
I think they want them to come in at like a young age too.
and that
right?
could have been it.
Well, usually
I mean,
most police dogs come in right as puppies.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
they
and
train
then
them from a very, very young age.
Or it could have been that they tried to get her to train like that, but she just didn't take to it as well.
Right.
Like there was like the little thing in the back of her going, I know I should do this, but squirrels.
Right.
Yeah.
So she just couldn't do it. Like one of my family
She racks
friends.
the discipline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
where's Zachary?
what-
What's Zachary?
where's Zachary?
Sorry.
But one of my family friends had a German Shepherd that she was raising to be like a
Ooh,
personal, help dog, right?
That's what Charlie is. He's an emotional support dog.
But like
Oh,
not
that's
like,
cool.
but not just like an emotional,
Right,
but
right.
but
Yeah,
like
no.
like
yeah.
actual like lead you around.
Like
Seeing
a
eye
seeing
dog.
eye dog.
Yeah, something like that, or just whatever, physical disability dog,
Right.
right? So but usually they take her away about after a year or so,
Mhm.
once they've talked. And my friend just could not give this dog up, so they I think they either paid the organization whatever it was to get like a new dog to train, but she could not physically part with this dog
Mhm.
because she had grown way too attached.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like this you bring a dog and it's like, oh, we're gonna train it, but then it becomes your family.
Right.
So because she can't when she has her vest on or whatever, it's training time, but then as soon as that comes off, it's fun time. It's too much.
Well, I mean, Charlie, like I said, he's an emotional support dog, and so April takes him into stores.
Yeah.
Because it's for her anxiety. Because if somebody yells at her, like goes off on her or something, she'll
Yeah.
just kind of
Seize up.
shut down. And
Yeah.
But he's got like this. He knows when something's wrong, and it's actually something amazing happened the other day. So the store that I work at, I've got a whole bunch of friends that I work with, and so April will bring Charlie up because we're a dog-friendly store and walk him around, and everybody gives him lovin's and all this. Well, lovin's.
Lovins.
So he was.
McLovins.
They were they were down with one of my friends at this. We call it the sunglass counter. It's got a whole bunch of expensive sunglasses in it that we sell. And I guess Charlie just like got fixed on this kid that was wandering around.
Yep.
He like wouldn't break eye contact with this little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Like, was he near them? This kid?
he was kind of like across the aisleway.
Okay.
It was like one of the main aisles.
Yeah. Didn't.
But Charlie locked onto him and wouldn't look away. And so what they called him over and they asked like, hey, are you okay? And they found out that he was a special needs kid
Oh.
and he couldn't find his parents.
Okay.
And when they asked him to stay, they're like, hey, can you stay here? We're gonna find your parents. And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So April's like, well, because Charlie was still fixated on this kid.
Yeah.
And he walked over and April's like, here, do you want to pet the puppy?
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie just like I guess gave him a whole bunch of like attention
Yeah.
and kept his focus on him.
Yep.
So then that way they could find his parents and.
Nice.
But I mean that's the kind of dog he is. He knows when something's wrong
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he does something about it. Like when my girlfriend's having an anxiety attack, he's like, look at me, like kind of distracts her from what's going on.
Yep.
And so but that's how it works. So she takes him into stores, and when he has his vest on, and there's sometimes when he's working, we'll let people pet him because the whole point is he's supposed to bring joy to people.
Yeah, he's emotionally there.
Right.
He's not just like a.
Right. But
Okay.
there is sometimes when we're actually like trying to train him that
Yeah.
we're like, no, you can't pet him right now,
Yeah.
and things like that. But no, I know somebody who trains seeing eye dogs, and yeah, you don't.
You can't touch him.
No.
I was
That's-
about to say that's much
no.
more important. Like, you really can't touch a
Well,
seeing eye dog.
even when they're training, I mean, even a normal dog training, like we've
Yeah.
got people coming through, trainers bringing dogs with parents through just obedience training.
Yeah.
And you don't even ask if
No.
you can pet the dog.
Yeah.
I used to work at Bordines, right?
Ooh.
So and which is a very pet friendly store. You can walk in with any kind of animal and they'll it's cool.
Well, the thing with most Bordines is like literally like half the store is outdoors.
Yeah, so it'd be
Yeah,
kind
is.
of dumb to not have it be
Right.
be dog
right.
friendly. But there were so many people that brought in like training dogs because it was a perfect place because A, pet friendly, but B, lots of people in the summer and spring. So it was always painful to have them come in because like you have an adorable black lab and it's basically a puppy still. It is
Mhm.
9 months old.
And
I
you
want
can't-
to hold you,
Right.
but I can't. I have to let you walk by me and cry a little bit on the inside.
Well,
I
and,
know,
and,
right?
and we've got they like our store because we've got stairs going up. We've got 2 sets of stairs.
Yep.
We've got an elevator. And so they like to bring them up this because upstairs you've got the archery department and then the range.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll go up the archery stairs, come across, and go usually down the range stairs and come up in the elevator and then go back down.
Nice.
So then that way the dog can ride in the elevator and get used to that and go downstairs and things like that. We do have some dogs though. Some of them that are going through obedience training that they'll say, "Hey, do you want to give my dog a treat to try to socialize him a little bit more?"
Yep.
PetSmart even does that. There was a trainer with a dog that was walking around the store and they're like, "Hey, would you mind giving saying a command to my dog and trying to get her to do this and give her a treat?" And my girlfriend and I jumped all over that. We're like, "Yeah." So, and I'll do that at work. There was a girl, I guess, who had a dog, and her girlfriend could never this dog was always mean to her, wouldn't behave.
Yeah.
But for her, this dog was
Perfect.
perfect, except for she didn't like men.
Really.
Yes,
My dog's
and
kind
she
of
was
like that.
She was a rescue, so I'm thinking that
Something was going on.
We're thinking that there was some abuse.
Yeah.
So she's taking him around trying to get trying to have people feed her. And so that took some time, but I had nothing to do. I sat there on the ground and, we worked together and she took a treat. She sat and I gave her a treat and then she went downstairs and came back up and she forgot who I was.
Nice.
And then we did it again.
Yeah.
Um,
You're new.
Anyway, no, so I love this story just because, the officer took the initiative and it's like, posted to Facebook. It's like, here's our new, canine.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
a new
good on
dog.
them.
Right.
So, and then they took her and got her, had to put her down and things like that, which is hard enough. But
Yep.
I think it was a good end. A good thing. I think,
Yeah.
a lot of people try to just make their dogs feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
know
like any loved one.
right. Well, and I know April said that they gave her dog a shot to kind of just relax her.
Yep.
and that's when it really hit her
That
dad.
this was the last time.
Well, no, this is how it really hit her dad how bad she was,
Oh.
because she like relaxed so much that
Uh-huh.
she kind of started, you know, you could tell that she wasn't in pain anymore.
Yep.
And she kind of got that like spark back in her eyes.
Oh, okay.
You know.
That she wasn't fighting or
Right.
anything. She's like, okay, I'm finally good right now.
Right. Right. And so that
Yep.
kind of when it hit her dad, you know, how serious it was, because he knew it was bad.
Yep.
But he didn't realize how bad it was
Yeah.
until that point. So, I mean, it is always hard, but I think this did make it better. And I was debating whether to put the story in because it is sad.
Because it was kind of
But-
sad.
but
But
It's a happy reminder that we do not deserve dogs.
it is a happy
in
reminder
any
that we do not
possible
deserve.
way.
Right.
We do not deserve dogs.
We do
Yeah,
not.
dogs are great.
There are people that really do not deserve dogs.
There are, and they are bad peoples.
You know who's not bad peoples?
I'm assuming the person that's next story.
Yes. And he is a UPS driver.
Guess who gets the gold star for today, gentlemen? This guy.
Do you also have two thumbs?
I do have two thumbs.
Okay.
And you know what they do? They point to me.
So this next story is actually I read it and I'm like, no way. You know, so you guys have heard about the fight or flight response, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I have another story of this actually to demonstrate fight or flight if you don't mind.
Do you want me to tell this first so the audience kind of knows what's going on, then you can tell your story?
Sure.
Okay.
Either way it works.
So, with the fight or flight response, you either, or better yet, the bystander effect. I hate the fact that this isn't actually a thing, but do you guys know what the bystander effect is?
Isn't that
Yeah,
just kind
it's
of
like-
where
It's like
you
if there's an accident and
You gawk.
everybody expects somebody else to call.
Everybody expects somebody else. You get
and
this
no one
thought in
does
your head
anything.
and says, "Oh, somebody else will do it. Oh, somebody else will do it." There was actually a murder. I think it was in London. It might have been in the U.S. I'm trying to remember. It was somewhere in one of the two.
That's a very broad.
No, I know.
London or the entire continent of the United States.
I feel like stuff like that though is like the reason people like theorize like hostages. Like no one ever does anything.
Right.
Once they're holed up, you think the other guy might
I
do it.
I usually
first.
think that's because there's a gun at your head, but
it
that
is.
Well,
might be.
No, anyway, but there was a girl that literally got murdered, and there was 1,000 witnesses, and nobody
So
did
she
anything.
figuratively didn't get murdered.
No, she
Okay,
actually
so literally got murdered. not
literally got
figuratively
murdered
Literally.
in front
Literally.
of like 2 to 3 buildings of people.
Was it literally in front of like 2 to 3 buildings of people?
It was
Literally.
literally.
So
Not
it was like
figuratively.
this in like a courtyard or something of
Yeah.
like a business like industrial
it was like a-
industrial park.
Pretty much. It was a big city.
Okay.
And I don't want to say it's New York. That's why I'm thinking it was somewhere in London or in the UK.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
It
that's
says Haverhill,
it was
Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Kitty something. I think was the name of the girl.
Huh.
I do not.
Anyway,
Sounds like X-Men.
But he pulled his Spider-Man too. He
So-
ran into a burning house.
no, yeah. So anyway, so this UPS driver was on his normal route, and when he rounded the corner, he noticed that there was a house on fire.
Yeah.
And unlike most people, instead of just sitting there going, "Oh, somebody else will get it," he stopped immediately, ran into the house to notify the people, try to get the people out. And he's like, "Hey, your house is on fire," and they had no clue.
How
Oh my
how do
God.
you not know?
Well, they do kind of.
Were they senior citizens?
No.
Oh, okay. That
Guys,
They-
does
they
some-
smelled
does
it.
something smell like it's burning to you?
Well, they smelled it.
Where's the cat? I don't know.
I hate that thing.
Well, what they did is they could smell the smoke, but they thought it was maybe their neighbor cooking on his grill or something.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That was the cat then.
So
Pork chops and applesauce.
horrible. Anyway, so the UPS
That's bad.
man got everyone out of the house, the kids, and they did get the cat. They did actually mention something about a cat.
Nice.
That's great.
So they got everyone out of the house,
She didn't have a tail.
and then he and
Aaron's done with me for the day, by the way.
too many people, too many
Too
people,
many voices.
Too many.
and they're all in
cooks.
my head.
It makes
Oh.
sense.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Are they literally in your head or figuratively?
both.
He hears.
Just like my foot's literally gonna be somewhere, and it's gonna be where the sun don't shine.
Well, I think he's trying to say he's going to kick you in the butt so hard he has to tie his shoelaces through your nose.
Yes. Anyway, No, so this UPS driver didn't just stop there. So he evacuated the house,
Yep.
and then he pretty much demanded for a fire hose. Which, when you're in a situation like that, you don't ask for anything; you demand everything.
Yeah.
So he demanded. He was looking for a fire hose or for a garden hose. He got one, and by the time the fire department actually got there, the fire was out.
Nice job, UPS man.
I know.
High five, bro.
Wouldn't that be great though if these guys like they even had like a hose at this house and like he's knocking on the door? I wonder like how he put it out. He like just
Well, he had
gets
a
some
guard-
buckets full of
No,
water.
he had a garden hose.
Oh, he had a garden.
He had a
hose.
garden hose,
Okay.
and he hooked the garden hose up, and pretty much. And he's he did say though, I thought this was funny. He said, I didn't realize how big the flames were until I saw the video myself, because there's a video of him standing on the porch with these huge flames behind him.
And he's just going.
Well, but in
Boss
the
mode.
in the moment, it's almost kind of like
Beast
you've got tunnel vision.
mode.
He's got, you
Yeah.
know, I've got to do this, 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 and this. And so he didn't realize how big the flames actually were until he looked back and saw that video. And like I said, these things were like twice the height he was.
Yep.
I am surprised he didn't get engulfed in flames.
Yeah, I could
Nice.
not imagine being like a real fireman. Like you do that every day.
No, I couldn't do it.
No, yeah. You got the video right here. Yeah, these
yeah, I'm
things.
looking at it too.
These are not small.
No.
These
How-
are not little baby flames. It's
And-
not
and-
like someone like dropped a candlestick.
How do you
And-
think
and-
someone's grilling too? Looking at that.
Yeah. More importantly, the fire starts off like either in their house or on their front
yeah.
porch.
And
So it's like, how did you not realize? Like, did you
Yeah,
think that
that's what I'm
someone was
saying.
shining a flashlight in your window, or something? I don't. Either. I will not be surprised this becomes a fraud lawsuit from the government, from my.
well, and they
That'd
they
be
have
pretty
Insurance
interesting
agency.
if that
they have
happened.
said that there's no determination of how the fire was started.
Yeah.
They're not sure. No, well, usually if it's arson, they can track. You know, they can see like
A
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
normally evidence.
sometimes there is with a lot of fire things actually.
right.
I have a friend who's a family friend who's a contractor, who is great friends with like a bunch of firemen
Firefighters?
because of how much he has to deal with them as far as
Right. rebuilding
and
houses.
most of the fires can't be explained. Most house fires don't get explained usually. So whenever you hear, oh, it was just electrical, that's usually just the go-to. Like, we have no clue.
Right.
Like, most house fires are supposed to be electrical, but
So
there's,
how do you figure out like there's an arson behind it?
there's usually an arson investigator that goes through and with fire departments and they look and sift through wreckage.
Okay.
They try to find stuff, oh, here, like if it was an electrical fire, it's usually in between levels. Like you have a bi-level house,
Yeah.
so you get the first level, and then in between the first and second level, it's usually not ceiling to floor. It's probably about probably got less than a foot
Yeah.
of like insulation and wiring and tubing, right? Usually that's where that stuff gets messed up,
Okay.
and that's what catches on fire. So it's usually that, and when it comes to electrical, but it could be, if it's a gas fire, it's
Well,
pretty easy to say, okay, here's a torch mark. Of
Yeah,
what
I was
looks
gonna
like
say
yeah,
gas sits on
usually
fire.
if it's like somebody poured some gas and they started it, they can pretty much track it to where the fire started, and usually there'll be like a trail.
because it burns differently.
Yeah.
Like
I
if you
would.
look at how metal burns versus how wood burns, there's different kinds of.
Mhm.
Well, and there was a I heard a story of an arson investigator actually.
Yeah.
That there was a string of random house fires,
Mhm.
and by the end of this, they tracked it to, because they thought it was random at first.
Yep.
It was all along his path back from where he was coming from. So like he traveled a lot. Every time he
Uh-huh.
traveled, there was a house fire in the area that he was in.
So wherever
Are
he
you,
was,
are you telling me that he is the arsonist?
He started the house fires.
Okay.
this is a man who needs to be like psychologically analyzed.
Well, he was caught.
Well, thankfully.
Yeah, no, they kind of did somewhat of a sting operation. They actually followed him. They had
Yep.
They had like 10 different unmarked, not even look like their normal cars.
This is sounded like some
And-
CSI stuff.
And what
now.
they did is they'd have two cars kind of follow him, stay a couple cars behind, and if they'd lose track of him, or if they think that he was catching on,
Yep.
they would get off the nearest exit and they would have another set of cars following him off the expressway,
Uh-huh.
and they would get on the expressway and continue to follow him in a different
Different path.
type of vehicle.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I mean, it could be a 4x4, Chevy Silverado. It could be that car's following me. The car will get off.
Yep.
and then
Another car picks up the trail.
right, another car will pick up the trail.
And I'm guessing
and
they
they-
caught this guy in the moment too.
Oh yeah, they caught him,
Getting ready to set stuff on fire.
pretty much.
Nice.
But they tracked him all the way to where he was at, and he also kept revisiting the sites of where he.
It's not. You never.
Yeah, you don't do
You
that.
shouldn't do
Well,
that.
but he was doing it so he could go in and kind of save the day.
Oh.
Like cover his tracks,
Right.
whatever.
So anyway, so you never know, but yeah. So it said it wasn't known how it started. They were still investigating, but they decided that they were just gonna, or that there really was no decision. Anyway, but this UPS guy just decided that he wanted to. In that moment, he decided to just kind of jump up and take action.
Nice.
And I need to commend him for it. Yeah, I mean it's brave running into a fire, especially when in just a UPS outfit.
Yeah.
Hope they like thank that guy.
Oh,
Like, at least, like, did
he's like
anything
praised
for
in that
him.
neighborhood now.
Okay.
I'm sure.
He'll literally be like
He's more popular than the ice cream man.
he is.
Yeah, I
When
know.
the UPS truck comes by, all the kids go out in the street and say hi.
He has his own tune now too. He like gives out boxes.
Here's an Amazon box. It has nothing in it, but here's an Amazon box.
Oh, I threw some gum in there, kid.
There
Do
you
do
go.
do do do. It's Amazon. Do 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 do.
Oh gosh.
You're weird.
Yes, a little bit.
Of course.
So, do you want to hear this fight or flight story of mine?
Yes.
All right. So
Sorry, I forgot.
it's all right, no big deal. So when I think it was probably a freshman in high school, my youth group at my church, we went to West Virginia, just on like a week long, just camping kind of thing, right?
right.
And it happened for multiple years. We did multiple years in a row, and this particular year, the youth pastor was like, "All right, guys are gonna sleep out in these makeshift tents, and the girls can sleep in this indoor visitor center," which sucked because it rained literally every single night that week.
Literally.
Sounds horrible.
Literally. And because we were outside, the guys had to go shower in a pool house, right? So I'm going there one night, shower up, and do everything, scrub myself down, brush my teeth, whatever. And one of the younger kids comes in and starts screaming something like, "Holy crap, there's a guy in a gorilla mask or gorilla costume scaring people out there." And I'm like, bull. So I walk outside this little pool house, and I see nobody. So I grab my stuff and I start walking along this fence, and lo and behold, probably about a half a football field away, a guy in a gorilla costume jumps out of the tree line with a shield and a pool noodle, nonetheless, and starts running at me on all fours.
Really?
Right. So, mind you, even back when I was in ninth grade, I was a very large kid.
I was
Right.
gonna say I wouldn't run towards you.
I
in
was
any
I
form
was
of
I was
costume.
I was still over 6 feet tall by the time I was in ninth grade.
Right.
I was a big guy, but so this guy decided to do it anyway. So he's running at me on all fours, and he gets probably about 2 feet away. And in my mind, I've already dropped my stuff because I'm freaked out. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I do the only natural action, and I start beating the crap out of him on his back. Like I hammer, like you watch Brock Lesnar in the UFC, hammer
Yeah, I've
fist
seen
somebody. Yeah, I do it to his spine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna-
Eventually, I hear stop.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap! It's my youth pastor. Thankfully, and by the way, this was like the first year this guy had done this.
Right.
But thankfully, it was not him. Oh, so that's the one part I was happy about. But it was somebody else that worked at this camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at me with the straightest face possible. I mean, just dead center right at him. He's like, "You don't hit people like that." Oh,
You don't scare people.
I'm sitting
like
there
that.
going like, "I'm sorry," but in the back of my head, I'm going,
I'll do it again.
You-
don't run up on people that are larger than you and younger than you. I'm sorry.
Right.
Don't you gotta take responsibility for some of your actions.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Maybe not all of them, but just a few.
Just to some of them.
I
It's
got
like
a
you
fighter.
were a random stranger to me at the moment in a gorilla suit, approaching me in a madman fashion, I'm gonna hit you.
I'm going to punch you. Going to punch you very hard in the spine.
No, but that's a good story.
I got a fight or flight story too.
Sure, what's up?
Let's hear it.
One time, I was in the mines of Moria. Had to fight against a Balrog to help the Fellowship get out.
Oh man.
What did you do?
It was a tough decision, but I did not let that guy pass.
That awesome. Did you tell your friends to fly?
Yeah, like fools.
Nice. And did one of them? And did they still stay back just long enough to watch you fall down a great chasm?
Yes, somehow like it all turned slow mo too.
That's
It's like I let
insane.
go of the cliff. I got an extra life at the end.
About to say, I bet you got all the XP and all the extra loot too.
After only
I
about
got a nice white
after
robe.
only an hour and a half of falling, did you finally get all that XP?
Right? Leveled up just in time.
And more importantly, you got new clothes.
Very nice clothes.
Just before you hit the ground, you leveled up high enough to, have 1 HP left when you hit.
Boom.
Thank
You know what I have
Maestro.
left?
What do you have left?
You have
No, that's the wrong one. I
wrong.
want this one. Welcome to. That's the right one.
The multiverse.
That's right, Mark's Multiverse. Got a lot for you guys today. Starting off,
A lot.
yeah,
Like he's preparing for like a 10-day show.
you know what?
Why are these notes over 3 minutes long, or like 3 pages long?
Because there was a lot of notes for them.
Are you doing a
As
test, Mark?
whole.
Anyways, there was a lot to cover, and not to mention it didn't help that I had the wrong document for the show prep, so I'm sitting here wondering why there's no other stories.
So and what did the document say?
It said
It
what
said
episode
Mark
was-
was wrong.
it said episode 60 on it.
Did it?
It did.
Because I couldn't find one that said episode 60.
It was the one you sent me last week, right after the show.
Then I don't know what you were typing on.
The wrong document, the one that you sent me last week.
Probably.
You made a new one sometime between then and now. Anyways.
Either way.
Today.
Anyways, back to Mark's Multiverse. I got a lot for you guys today, starting with Apple getting the green light to test their self-driving cars.
Nobody
Crap.
cares.
Because you know how Apple has to get in on everything, right?
No,
I'm
Apple has to
scared.
try to get on everything. I
And
would.
then fail at some point miserably.
It
They
is
cram
bad
it all
when
Pretty
into
much.
one tiny box.
it is bad when you talk to somebody, a guy who just retired from Apple, and he agrees with you that Apple has not done anything innovative in years.
You know what I can tell you? I bet you their self-driving cars will not have a headphone jack.
Probably.
You know what else I bet?
You
What?
probably have to
They
get
won't
car.
work.
You
I bet
you
you they
probably
won't.
have to get car-sized headphones as an attachment.
I bet you're going to have to get special insurance from the geniuses.
From what?
Uh huh.
The Apple geniuses?
Apple
Cricket,
scientists.
cricket.
Never mind.
I one, I don't think Apple and geniuses should go in the same sentence together.
Have you
Right?
seen the people that work at the Apple store?
Yeah, the guys who work at the store.
Oh, mean the blue shirts.
Yeah, whatever you call them.
That's what they're called. They're called the blue shirts.
I don't call them geniuses.
Never mind, I must have been thinking about
I
the
call
South Park
them
episode
hippies,
then.
but that's me.
I call them jerks.
Anyways,
Yes.
Apple has
Tools.
secured a permit to test autonomous vehicles in California, and the State Department of Motor Vehicles even stated this. This does not confirm it does confirm
Of course, the DMV would be the first to let you know bad news.
exactly.
Right.
It does confirm
Thank
what's
you,
long been
DMV.
exactly, but this does confirm what's long been rumored that Apple is at least toying with the idea of getting into the autonomous game in some capacity. Apple joins a growing list of traditional car makers, technology companies, and startups to conduct trials in California, all vying that the first to bring self-driving cars to the masses.
But yet, they were not the first.
No, they were not.
They took somebody else's idea.
Well, of course, it's
did.
Apple trying to steal the thunder as usual.
That's
Anyways,
cool.
companies that have been issued permits also include Alphabet Inc.'s Google unit, Ford, Volkswagen, Daimler, Tesla Motors, and also General Motors. In another sign of the investment in self-driving cars, GM said this week that it will add more than 1,100 jobs in California over 5 years at its cruise automation unit to boost its self-driving efforts. The country's largest automaker by sales is testing more than 50 autonomous Chevrolet Bolt electric vehicles on public roads in San Francisco, the Detroit metropolitan area, and Scottsdale, Arizona.
No,
That's right, here in
Detroit
Detroit.
sucks at driving to begin with. I don't need cars that don't understand people.
I hate
Right?
driving in Michigan in general.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
like
not,
this guy.
I mean, granted, of all the places to test autonomous vehicles, you might as well test in a place that has, all 4 seasons in 1 week.
True.
True.
You can find out whether or not it's gonna fall off a bridge because of ice, and then
So you want to hear something really funny? This is a little bit gross, but kind of goes along the same line.
yes,
So I think it's funny how we have every season in like the span of 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
but yet when it comes to certain scientific advances, like I'm talking about like decomposition and like studying that kind of stuff.
yeah,
There are 2 places we pull our resources from.
Tennessee.
Because we don't have a body farm where they like put donated corpses out and try to figure
Yeah,
out.
I've heard about this.
So that's a thing in Tennessee.
University of Tennessee.
Yes, and actually, it is true that underneath the football field, they actually do have a.
A
That's
body
where they
farm.
get. That's
They
where they.
used to. They use. I don't think it's anymore.
Oh.
No, they actually have a spot where they kind of pretty much strip whatever flesh is left off the bones.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Anyway, but that actually is still under the football field. But they have land donated to it. But we
Yeah.
have to pull data from there, and then there's another state that's colder that we have to pull our data from. It's like, why don't we have one ourselves?
Because we do have such a variety of weather so quickly sometimes
Yeah, it can
that
mess up your study.
Not really.
yeah,
No,
because if it goes from 30 degrees Fahrenheit to 60 the next day, that's a difference in decomposition.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
sometimes those
but
farms are like to test how a murder happened.
but it's real life. So say, you're conducting a study and it goes from this temperature to this temperature
Yeah.
in one day, okay?
Well, that'd
They
be gr- that'd
study
be-
they're going to study that every day when that temperature changes, okay? That's going to be able to give them a better and actually they'll go back and look, okay, on this day what was the data that was recovered?
Yeah.
Because if there actually happens to be someone who dies
Yep.
somewhere around the same time, they can go back to that data and say, well, this is what the weather was like.
Yep.
This is what it did. So this is probably a good way to estimate what happened. That's the whole point. Is that
Yeah.
the weather is so far left and so far right that we need we need something like this
And
ourselves.
that's
Yeah.
great for states like Michigan, that do have a rapid weather change, either like northern parts of Illinois, which are right on the lakefront. Minnesota has crazy weather apparently.
Yeah. If it's like Arizona, though.
The cold, except the difference is cold. But with like Tennessee has more of a constant weather pattern.
well, yeah.
You don't have to guess, and that's why they keep it there, is because most of the United States isn't like Michigan.
Well, there was going to be one put on the MSU campus because MSU has little pieces of property all over
Yeah.
Michigan, and they had actually there was a whole body of students that wanted to pretty much put in a body farm.
Yep.
On a piece of property tucked back somewhere where nobody would really ever find it. I mean, they know where it's at and they can study it, but nobody would accidentally walk upon all these,
I'm sure there's someone like, there is a forearm sticking out of the
No,
ground,
but
I
I
don't
know,
know
right?
why there's a
But-
forearm.
Can you imagine
But they
being the
can
guy at that
fence it
job
up.
too? Like you run the farm.
You're just like, well,
It's-
the
it's-
flies
it's-
are back again.
Like, are you on farmersmeat.com? It's like, I run a body farm.
What do you? So what kind of farm do you run, handsome?
Yeah.
Fingers.
Yeah.
No, anyway, but they were going to put one in, and they had the funding, they had the property, and they got denied
Yeah. Why they get denied?
because the dean of the college or the president of the college thought it was gross.
It is gross.
Yeah, it is.
No,
but
it
it's,
is.
But it's
a
useful.
little bit.
No, it
It's
is very
useful
useful.
gross.
And that's why I said we need one for Michigan because our weather changes so fast.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Tennessee, it's pretty much the same.
It's pretty stable.
And so we've got to pull data from there, and then
Yeah.
we've got to pull data from somewhere that's colder than we usually are.
Yeah.
To where if we had one here, we can measure. Like I said, they could actually go back and say, okay, if this person died, was last seen on this day, between this time and this time, the weather was about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they know, okay, well, it froze, so that would delay the decomposition for, whatever purpose. Anyway, but the I was trying to remember what point I was making.
Somehow this
Your
has to
point
do
was
with smart
basically we
cars.
need a body farm in Michigan.
Well, no, that I was trying to connect it back to the whole. Oh, he was talking about how it was a great way to test cars in a place that it was so hot, so
yeah.
cold.
Anyways.
So what you're saying is you want zombies to try out the new Apple self-driving cars.
Yeah, they're the best
Yeah,
crash
Okay,
test.
that's-
That way you don't have to kill us.
Exactly. There
Right.
we go.
They work for brains.
I mean, it'll be about as successful as their last ideas. So
What last
What was
ideas?
what was the last
just
idea?
about just every other idea they've ever had.
They haven't had an idea since Steve Jobs died.
Not since the
Exactly.
iPod Classic, maybe.
I think the iPod Classic was like the last good idea they even had.
It's like their first idea too.
Hey, pretty much.
I don't know.
They-
Anyways, back to cars. There are other companies that are getting back into this. Like for example, Mercedes-Benz and Daimler and supplier Robert Bosch, the world's largest automotive supplier, are collaborating to develop robo-taxis.
By the way, they tried this with Uber. Guess what happened?
People
Fail.
A
crash.
car fell on its side because it couldn't understand the road.
I don't even know how that
People
happens.
died because of Uber.
Oh,
No, I'm
I would
kidding,
have
they
loved to
didn't.
see that.
You can go look online. It's the
I
pictures
might,
are
I
there.
might have to look this up. Anyways, many companies have said that the first self-driving cars will launch in 2020, but some experts believe it may take much longer due to regulatory challenges. Apple executives have been coy about their interest in cars. Chief Executive Tim Cook has suggested that Apple wants to move beyond integration of Apple smartphones into vehicle infotainment systems. Apple's permit in California applies to 3 vehicles, all 2015 Lexus RX 450h hybrid SUVs, and 6 individual cars, according to the Associated Press. Under California law, self-driving cars that are being tested must have a person in them who can take over if anything goes wrong. Apple was not immediately available for comment.
They're never available for comment.
This,
I know,
this-
right?
I looked up the picture. This,
Just like the tech support.
for those of you that, for the three of us that can see it because Aaron's over on the other side. This is what
I
the
can see
car. This is what the car looked like when they found it. It is a. It looks. I don't even know what it is. It looks like a.
Looks like a Volvo.
Yeah, it's a Volvo. Or, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
know it's Buick, but it doesn't have the Buick thing on it. But
Volvo or Buick, yeah.
it's on its side.
You have no idea how
There-
that happens.
It's on its side, and the car that it crashed into is crunched up on the side as well. So
Guys-
I don't know what happened to this car to the point where it fell on its side. It's just, it looks at you like, I tried.
Warning, driver, computer incompatible, cannot charge today.
Probably just like hit a curb or something, really.
It's still bad.
Maybe it hit a Michigan pothole.
Yeah, we have big ones.
It's like you know you're from Michigan when you see a pothole-filling truck stuck in a pothole. So, anyways, moving on. Well, actually, not really moving on because this next one takes another step off the ground. Literally, real flying cars may actually be a reality possibly soon.
Can I just say that was a horrible segue?
Anyways, the future is here.
It's
The
better
first
than
ever
yours.
production ready flying car is set to be revealed in just over a week. Slovakia-based engineering firm Aeromobile.
Slovakia.
Slovakia.
Slovakia was the.
No, Slovakia.
Yeah.
Slovakia, that's
you
what I
said
meant to say.
Sokovia, which was the place in
Sorry,
Avengers 2.
me and Jake were talking Marvel the whole way over here.
Just had me thinking Doctor Doom. when you said
Right.
that.
Anyways, Slovakia-based engineering firm Aeromobile unveiled its flying car prototype in 2014, but it was not made commercially available at the time. The company recently announced, however, that its latest model will be available for pre-order this year, though there has been no word of pricing yet.
And if you pre-order at GameStop, you'll get some special DLC.
Pretty much. But anyways, this new model has not been yet revealed, but it's set to debut in the top
Debut.
Marquez, Monaco, known as the world's most exclusive supercar show, on April 20th. April 20th.
Pretty sure it's Monaco.
Monaco, there we go. I'm not. You guys know I'm not very good with geography.
Do you read
That's
the story
just
before you?
words. Not
Anyways,
Monaco.
according
If I asked you to find where Monaco is, I wouldn't ask you that. But how to pronounce Monaco is a different story.
According to Aeromobile, the next
You can't
generation
laugh, Aaron.
vehicle is fully functional as both a four-wheeled car and an aircraft. The flying car is also environmentally conscious because it is a hybrid engine, according to the company representatives. Aeromobile aims to make personal transportation vastly more efficient and environmentally friendly by allowing significantly faster door-to-door travel for medium-distance trips and in areas with limited or missing road infrastructure. The flying car was built in compliance with the existing regulatory frameworks for both cars and airplanes, which means it is possible that the future owners would need both a driver's license and a pilot's license to operate the vehicle.
Nope.
Airmobile recently raised $3.2 million following the successful development and testing of the vehicle's design. The company announced that the new funding will help support the production of the flying car. The new investment will enable the company to develop and showcase a physical model, Airmobile's co-founder and CEO said in a statement. It will be very close to the final product that will be used in a series production. As the result of this extensive engineering and analysis effort, we have a very clear picture as to how our product will function and are very confident that the vehicle we are showing is deliverable without any more significant changes. Another flying car concept was announced earlier this year when Airbus and Ital Design revealed their multimodal transportation concept called Pop-Up. That vehicle is a transforming car that can attach to wheels for driving, connect propellers for flying, or join a train-like transit system.
Sounds like a death trap.
This thing,
It really does.
this thing sounds like it's part Transformer.
Robots in
Just made me heavy
disguise.
thinking of like those pop figures Bulma had in Dragon Ball.
There's
Like,
actually
you
a
throw
pic-
the capsule.
There's actually a picture in the link too. It's really, really weird looking. The car, it basically has like the cab or cockpit or whatever you want to call it, like towards the front, and then the wings look like they fold in, and it really does look weird.
So, is it just me? Because I feel like I've seen a flying car before, and it looked really weird. It looked like a plane,
Yeah,
but
I've
with a
seen
car
it
bottom.
before.
So, one, this isn't a new idea. Two, chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah.
Enough said.
I've never seen that actually.
Ah,
Same here.
That's Disney, right?
yes.
Old Disney.
Old Disney.
They're
But
probably
yeah,
gonna do a
very,
remake
very,
of
very
that,
good
like
movie.
with Pete's Dragon.
Mhm. But yeah, no, if you click on the link, we actually have a picture there. I'll post it to the page. It looks like some kind of weird, like, hypercar mixed with a plane.
And the link is posted in the description below.
And the link is posted in the description below, but I'll post a picture to our page. But overall, it's a rather wonky design, if you ask me.
All I want to know is
Did you just
is
use the word
Doc Brown
wonky?
Yes, I did.
driving it?
What's that, Jake?
All I want to know is Doc Brown driving it, and will he take me to the future?
No, it's not a DeLorean.
As much as
I
I
wish
wish
it was the DeLorean.
As much as I wish it was a DeLorean, it's not.
DeLoreans are expensive.
They're
Not
also
really,
kind of
they're
crappy
only-
now.
Last
Are they?
From what I've heard, they're kind of crappy now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like kind of the joke, like why they use
It's
it
kind
in
of
the
like it's
movie.
yeah, it's like the DeLorean is supposed to be like this futuristic looking car, but then it's just like
Remember that's like when like the lines
if
in
I-
the first movies, like you used the DeLorean.
it's like the 1990s line or 2000s lines of cars.
See, if I ever bought one, I would.
I don't think Mark got the correlation on that one. I think he's kind of looked at me like, what about
It went-
large cats? What about large African cats? What now?
No, I was actually looking ahead at a different story for a
Oh,
moment.
okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so really a lot of interesting designs to say the least. I don't know what I think about them yet. I mean, I guess the right idea is there, except that I'm not sure if I care about how they're going about
I'm
it.
just scared of the idea of like car crashes in the sky now.
There's a lot of people that I don't trust driving a
Well, here's
car,
the thing.
much
Yeah.
less flying
Here's
a
the
I
car.
thing.
currently flying is much safer than driving, but only because there's not that many there's not as many
Yeah,
planes as there are
But
cars.
could you imagine once it's like now though, like 100,000?
It's
I
gonna
think
be
it
worse
eventually
than
will
the
be like
Jetsons.
Futurama.
I know.
Be like Futurama, where you don't have to follow anything, but everyone still
Yeah.
goes in a similar fashion
Right.
over one area.
And then
you're
one
all
guy
like-
drives into like the big TV screen.
Exactly.
If you ask me, what I think is going to happen is the idea of an automated vehicle and a flying vehicle are eventually going to become the same thing. Because here's the thing, like I said,
I hope not.
I would never trust
to
either.
even
I
own
wouldn't
such a
trust either
vehicle,
of
you're
them.
That
going to
would be
need a
the
driver's
safest
license
way
and
to
a
do it,
pilot's
though.
license to even have one of these. So
No, because if it happens, what you say is going to happen. If that happens, they're going to get rid of driver's license because who's going to drive? Everyone's going to fly, except for me. I'm going to drive like an old person because I don't trust.
Dad, we're supposed to be in school in 5 minutes, and you'll be there, but we're driving. I know.
Do you think people would like start trying to like fly their cars over the ocean for like vacations?
I'm hoping teleporters become a thing.
I really do, but matter of transportation is very, very confusing.
Right. Well, flying cars are just not safe.
Well, no. but they're not confusing.
Like I said,
No.
though, I think before they are having people fly them around, I think they're going to be trying to perfect the automated vehicle touch. That way,
Yeah.
that way
probably.
we don't have to worry about people like flying their cars like idiots. Instead, we'll have safety.
I'm
systems
always
for
worried
monitoring.
about that.
Every time I get
There's-
in my car.
Yeah, I don't
I can't even trust myself sometimes when I drive.
exactly. See,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that's why they're working on automated vehicles.
Granted.
So they can get Jake off the road.
Yeah, please.
Anyways, moving on. This next topic, it's about renewable energies and basically how it's not going to be happening in the United States in this next couple years. Basically, green energy has hit a new milestone. The world added record levels of renewable energy capacity in 2016, despite an investment level that was 23% lower than the previous year, according to the United Nations, at least. Globally, these low expenditures, the lowest seen since 2013, were largely due to the declining prices of renewable energy, a sign of vitality in the sector. For instance, the average dollar cost per megawatt for solar photovoltaics and wind energy dropped by more than 10%, according to the report. In total, the world spent $241.6 billion on renewable energy last year. That excludes spending on large hydro, which largely refers to projects that use a dam and a reservoir to retain water from a river.
That damn reservoir.
That damn reservoir. The report reflects an important moment, a slow
He's
but
funny.
sustained trajectory towards cleaner sources of energy. It reflects the fact that the cost of renewable technologies are coming down pretty drastically. Last year's spending created 139 gigawatts of renewable energy infrastructure, 8% more than the amount of renewable capacity built in 2015. The report is a reminder that if you set aside policy for a moment, there are factors in the marketplace which are continuing to push countries toward cleaner sources of energy. Of course, market forces alone cannot create the conditions required for renewable energy transformation. Policy also matters. Now, ordinarily, I don't like getting into politics, but for this story in particular, it kind of digs into Trump a little bit, mainly because he's shooting down all these renewable energy policies. Since the election of President Trump, the U.S. has made a dramatic pivot from its global environmental agenda under President Obama. Earlier this week, the U.S. dealt a blow to the International Climate Cooperation. Top officials from the Group of 7 industrial nations reached a standstill in their attempts to draft a joint declaration due to a Trump administration review of climate policies. The final declaration was left incomplete. A longtime critic of the landmark Paris Agreement, Mr. Trump has vowed to withdraw from the global pact governing lower carbon emissions. Domestically, Environmental Protection Agency Chair Scott Pruitt has ushered in a new chapter in the history of the EPA since his February confirmation, from reversing a key rule underpinning the Clean Water Act to clearing the way for Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines. Before assuming leadership of the EPA, the former Attorney General of Oklahoma made a name for himself among the EPA opponents for suing the agency more than a dozen times. Recent emails unearthed by the Associated Press reveal Scott Pruitt's strong ties to business leaders in the fossil fuel industry, an industry whose carbon emissions Pruitt is now charged with regulating. Reflecting global averages, the UN report painted a rosy picture of renewable energy infrastructure worldwide. However, the report also documented a significant slowdown in China, Japan, and some emerging markets. In looking at the evolution of clean energy, an associate professor in Indiana University School of Public and Environmental Affairs emphasized the importance of examining multiple forces at play at the same time, including political and market forces that may be counteracting each other. For the U.S., when you have a policy moving in the opposite direction as the markets, it may slow down some of the decarbonization and movement towards clean energy.
Okay, Doc Brown.
that was a lot.
It's
I'm
like
I'm
you're
I'm just
saying-
gonna say that was boring.
Wow.
I was
That's
bored.
hurtful. I liked it. I liked the mark.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of
I-
bored.
Okay.
It's because you don't think too often, do you?
I think a lot.
But about this stuff, though,
No,
you don't do sciencey stuff.
I do some sciencey stuff.
Not as much sciencey stuff as
You're
Mark.
not
I-
really into science, Aaron.
I just don't trust
I don't trust
automated stuff.
the people. The people that are doing
It's not
the
even
stuff.
about
I don't trust
automation.
them. No, I think it's. I mean, as far as the stuff, um, m- talking about markets as far as how much they want environmentally friendly stuff to go on. The problem is that market-wise, this stuff still does not make money.
No.
People
Yeah,
are still
I don't think the markets care as much.
the markets don't care as much because it doesn't make a whole lot of money. I think at one point some survey was done in Germany because Germany decided to put up a ton of windmills, right?
Yeah, I think Norway's done that too in other countries.
And the issue for Germany is that Germany either is super stinking windy or it is not windy at all. So they had highs and lows periods where the highest period they actually had to give people money back
Yeah.
because the energy output was so high, and they actually told people, no, you run everything in your house. Do all the laundry you have to do.
Yeah.
Because currently we are an energy expenditure where
A surplus.
we're in a surplus, right? But the issue is they couldn't hold the remaining energy. You can't be put into like a battery or anything.
Yeah.
They were
So
making more energy than they were able to hold.
Yeah,
But
but
it can also be like a pain just to like keep working still and cleaning. Like
I think I got a
windmills.
solution.
Exactly.
They just build a giant battery and
A
just
giant
recharge it
battery.
every time.
and that's what they've tried to do. People have tried to put for like even for solar and wind energy, they've tried to put it into giant batteries, and it doesn't work because the batteries cannot hold that kind of energy for that long or that amount.
Right.
So, as far as the market part of it, I think you're not going to see a market for environmentally conscious.
Not unless it's like an actual corporation that makes the windmills and like
That
solar
and
panels.
there are ones that do because you have like for the U.S. when Obama was still president, you had a lot of incentive to make stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys up here, but I lived down in Clarkston, and a couple times not a couple times, multiple times last summer, we had extra long flatbed trucks hauling in giant windmill um, propellers.
Yeah, I think I've seen those.
And
Yeah, I've seen
it's insane watching them make a tight turn.
Oh yeah.
But
They pretty much put a set of wheels on the back of this thing and put a set of wheels on the front of this thing. And
exactly. But so the issue I think kind of lies in that you can put them just about anywhere there's a ton of wind. Like
Mhm.
it'd be smart to put them on all the coasts. Put them on the west side of Michigan because west side of Michigan has lake and the wind goes like this.
right.
So be smart to put it there. Put it on the west side of the United States. California, Oregon,
Yeah,
Washington,
San
stuff like that.
Francisco.
Exactly. I mean, heck, even Minnesota. If you drive through Minnesota,
Minnesota.
you will see a ton of them. But the issue is that trying to do it on a full-scale government or country scale,
Right.
it doesn't work too well because it's hard to transport that energy
Yeah.
left and right.
Especially if you're talking like 50 states.
Yeah. Now, if you if you put it like for state and local stuff, that's fine. I think that'd be a good idea because it works that way.
Mhm.
But it's like with the Hoover Dam, right? It makes a ton of electricity
Mhm.
every single year. Most of that electricity and water goes towards California. It's not necessarily supporting, the local area because there's not a whole lot around the Hoover Dam. But instead shipping it off to California, which kind of hoses everyone in the immediate area.
Right.
But should that area become more populated, what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
Right.
You're just going to be like, sorry, we already told California we're going to send them all their water to water their lawns.
It's like you were saying earlier too, and if you like do try and implement like policies like this in the government level, like not every state or town is as windy as the other, so you can't just make it windmills everywhere.
It's like
Some
real
places
estate,
may
it's
need
location,
solar
location,
panels
location.
more.
Exactly.
Or a dam.
Well, and
would
it's
be even
and it's
better.
funny because a lot of people are being like, they're like, oh well, Donald Trump is doing this and that, and it's like there are some things that he's doing logically
Yeah.
because
That sound counterintuitive.
right,
Mhm.
like you said, we can't do it on such a massive scale,
Yeah.
and he knows that, but he also knows that there's companies that are putting up windmills and solar panels and things like that that will slowly kind of build to, maybe one day we may be solar powered or wind powered
Yeah.
if we get them in the right spots.
Maybe
But
everything. That's really
taking
the best
an
way.
initiative with the government and saying, "Oh, well, we're going to do this and we're going to put all these here," and he's like, "Hold on, back up.
Yeah.
Somebody's already working on it. Let's
Yeah.
put our time and resources towards something
else.
else that would benefit our country." I
And
mean-
and more towards solar power stuff. The issue that a lot of people see with solar power is that it is expensive to make panels.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It is super expensive. It's a lot of money, and not all the time does that cost benefit analysis equal out to a positive outcome.
Well, there's actually some people that live in the back of my grandma's neighborhood that put in a giant solar panel.
Yeah, and I know it sounds bad trying to say, well, we shouldn't do stuff for the environment because it doesn't make money.
Uh-huh.
But it's not so much making money. I would be fine if it
It's
broke
not really
even.
it's not really ethical.
No, I would be fine if it broke even. I don't mind so much making a profit on it. It's that if you can't if you can't break even or stay in the positive enough, then there's no point in putting money into it because then you're running a negative. You're running.
Well, and we're already pretty much our economy's in the toilet. If we keep throwing,
It's not in the toilet right now.
Okay, well,
I mean, be honest about that. The economy itself is doing fine, but as far as putting
we
effort
are in
into-
major debt.
we are in major debt, but putting effort into stuff that doesn't,
Well, it doesn't help when you're putting billions of dollars into bombing other countries either.
it does not. That is true. But that's a whole nother issue that needs to be
Yeah.
talked about in a
That-
completely different light.
Yeah,
That's not EPA.
and in a different
That's-
setting.
That's true.
No, but the whole point is that I feel like some people do need to do their research because okay, yeah, he is kind of pulling out of some of the the natural.
He cut EPA spending by a lot. In fact, even the state of Michigan, the annual budget for the Great Lakes is what, $300 million
Right.
Yeah.
for restoration and upkeep. He's cutting it to below $100 million.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but if the figures say, "Hey, we don't need 300 million," because I mean, usually what's the big thing people think of? We need to get Asian carp and we need to get zebra mussels out of the Great Lakes
Right.
because they're
Yeah.
hurting the ecosystem, right?
Right.
There's nothing to kill them, there's nothing to eat them. And if $300 million a year is not helping get rid of the two major problems facing our greatest resource, then take money out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're focusing solely on those, and obviously if there's like spills or stuff and people are dumping stuff, yeah, obviously you need money for that. But in the Great Lakes, it doesn't happen so much.
Well,
Yeah.
And it's usually offshoot ponds that don't even affect the Great Lakes.
And he didn't take the entire budget away.
No, he
But
did
you've
not.
also got to look at it this way: those funds may not be completely gone,
No.
but there are ways that we have to cut back on spending on things that we're spending. I mean, the
Yeah.
budget. If it's not like you said, if it's not making a difference,
Why have
let's cut it back for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when we are in the green and we are being, profitable as a country, then we can, splurge a little bit more and try to, put more money towards these things that do matter.
I think one of the ways they're doing that too is I read this article like a few weeks ago. Like, sounds like the way they're working their strategy is they cut the funding of the EPA and they just concentrate on like smaller problems more throughout the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I thought I read they donated like $100 million to Flint, Michigan alone, just like deal with the water crisis.
That's another topic. If you want to talk about the Flint water crisis, honestly, the whole thing needs a overhaul.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're affected by it, are you, Aaron?
No, I see. And this is one thing that's irritating is a lot of people are like, "Oh, you live in Flint? Do you have Flint water?" No, I live in Flint Township.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am on a well.
Yeah. So
And-
you got lucky with that.
And
Yeah,
even
you
if I
really got
wasn't
lucky.
on a well,
Yeah.
I would be on Detroit water because the township does not have Flint
okay.
water. It is just the city of Flint.
Yeah.
And right now, the township is actually in the process of changing its name, so it will no longer be associated with.
Oh my god.
Wow,
Flint.
really?
No, it's actually a thing because,
I don't blame them.
like I said, I'll tell people, "Where do you live?" "Oh, I live in Flint."
Yeah, then you just
"Oh,
get
I'm
that
so
reaction.
sorry. And it's like, okay, A, I have a well. B, look at a map because there is such thing as a township I live in Flint Township,
Not the town.
To be
not
honest,
the town.
Not the city.
I did think
but
that
the
at
town.
first. Like I heard about this place the first time I came over here.
Right.
I was like, oh wait, Flint? It's like, no, not that Flint.
No, I have a well, and like I said, even if I didn't, I wouldn't be affected. Like I worked at a factory,
Yeah.
and we asked a question. We said, "Hey, are we affected by this?" Because it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's in Flint Township, and she said, "No, Flint Township is still on Detroit water."
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, the issue then is just it's the fact that the city decided to be idiots.
Pretty much.
No-
The township kept their brains and stayed where they were, and the city was like, let's give this a try.
Yeah. And as far as that goes,
Well,
the whole situation there has been a debacle. I think.
Well, and it wasn't even completely that. It was the fact that those pipes haven't been changed in years.
No.
I think that's what the
Where-
money's for too. Like they're just gonna change the entire pipeline.
Well,
That's- and that itself is going to cost more than $100 million.
Probably.
I mean, that's a huge undertaking to try to revamp an entire city's.
Well, and they were
Pipes.
slacking. Like, the township, they go through and slowly, replace pipes as they go. I know Grand Blanc does that. They'll go and they'll say, okay, these ones were put in this many years ago. We're going to replace them now. And they have a schedule for everything. I feel like Flint just kind of gave up and was like, well, screw it.
Well, but yeah, because they went to the Detroit water source and they never thought they would go back to Flint water because the Flint River is nasty. And they're
Right.
like, oh, hey, Detroit water is a little bit cleaner. By the time it gets here, it's a little bit fresher.
Well, they were originally on Detroit water and they switched to the Flint River. And then they
switched back.
switched back.
And within that time, they probably didn't think they were going to go back to the Flint River, so they didn't ever
Fix the pipes.
fix the pipes. And so that's more of a foresight and hindsight issue
Right.
Yeah.
as far as policy.
It's just
and
a big mess.
overall, just
Yeah.
crap, to be
Yeah.
honest. But the whole that Flint with Flint water and how the Great Lakes are being treated and all the EPA stuff is probably going to save time for another day to talk about because Aaron, I believe there's something else that you want to get onto, isn't there?
Movie Madness Monday! Movie Madness
Monday.
I was working on that. I was getting there.
See,
I was trying to wrap up
I'm-
this conversation.
I'm good, right?
That was kind of a weird segue, but
It was, but
it was a segue nonetheless.
How do you segue from Flint and Water to Thor?
This whole podcast has been like Looney Tunes segues.
It's
Yeah.
been really bad.
That's usually how.
Anyway,
Not a good day for
so
segues.
we're talking about Thor Ragnarok again. Oh no, we
No,
never
we
talked
didn't
about
talk-
it.
We did
we
not get
saved
to talk
it
to-
for this
We
week.
saved it for this week because we were going to talk about it last week and we ran out of time.
We had too much fun last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about Thor though.
All right. Well, so yeah, with Thor, the first trailer for Thor Ragnarok has landed, showing off the first footage of Kate Blanchett's smoldering, devastatingly fierce Hela, aka the goddess of death. The trailer begins with the
Did
Asgard.
you write this, or was this written by somebody else? Because that sounds like a fan fiction fantasy that you may have written.
Honestly, it gets like that in these movies.
It does get that in this
I know it does.
Yeah.
Smoldering eyes.
Like I can imagine in the
Smoldering
trailer them going like,
eyes.
"She's hella beautiful."
She's devastatingly
She.
fierce.
Did you say she's hella beautiful?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if they say that in the movie.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff
great.
like that.
That's awesome.
That would be great. Anyways, the trailer begins with the Asgardian Avenger dangling in a dark pit by chains after an explosive encounter with Hela. You know what?
By the way, his hair is
This-
shorter and it looks so much better.
The description
Thor.
for this trailer, though, put it into words, it does sound like some kind of.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
It sounds like some kind of like vaguely
This-
erotic Thor fan fiction.
It really does,
I
though.
think
And
Thor
the-
is gonna be okay in Ragnarok, guys.
And then
Yep.
Thor,
So-
dangling from the chains that Hela put him in,
Hella
spread
chins.
eagle in the dungeon of flames and fire, which are the same thing.
as fierce as her smoldering
Oh my God.
eyes.
Now this is
Hela
sounding like
walks
fan
up to him.
fiction.
Okay, guys.
Anyways, so basically in the trailer,
Gotta
Thor's
calm
lost
down
his
a little bit.
signature weapon, Mjolnir, and now we know why. He didn't misplace the artifact. Hela smashed it into a million pieces. Because you know her, she's hella fierce.
He just likes to say that too. He actually lost. it.
He was just copying you.
Yeah.
Anyways, now she hopes to do the same to Asgard, with Thor thrown through a hole in space to the barbaric planet Sakaar. Asgard is dead. She proclaims
You can't get real human places right, but you can name Sakaar.
Perfectly.
That's like me
I'm
too.
a geek, okay? I mentally live in the world of sci-fi.
You
fiction.
know, you need to pick up a textbook.
You need to get yourself off the Thor.
Anyway.
I can name all of
Very
Middle
nice.
Earth for you right now, but not the world
We
live
will
in.
do that after because I kind of want to see it.
Anyways, so Hela basically proclaimed Asgard is dead as a wave of fire and ash sweeps over Thor's homeworld. Meanwhile, our hero was forced into gladiatorial games on Sakaar by the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum, by the way. This is
Who
gonna be
did not
great.
stutter 1 second in the trailer. There was no Goldblum-esque stutter, and I was so happy.
Yeah, it's true.
And we will soon have Thor on the battlefield.
Anyways, so so in the trailer it shows that Thor's gonna have to face off against the Hulk of all characters, which I was actually really happy to see because my prediction for Thor Ragnarok was that they were gonna turn it into a Planet Hulk kind of story.
And when
I'm so happy
when
they
we
did this.
when we watched the trailer last week,
We were
I-
all going
I-
crazy.
we all cheered.
it was awesome because I just see Goldblum going, and the opponent is going to be, and then oh, I'm like, Hulk, it's Hulk! Oh my gosh, it's here! And
Yeah.
it was like,
And then all you hear in the studio is
it was a lot louder
Pretty
than
much.
that.
We
It
were all
was.
going crazy. Like,
we were screaming.
I'm pretty
and, like,
sure your dog got PTSD from how loud we were screaming last
Am I
week.
the only one too that actually likes Thor's Ragnarok outfit more than this like regular?
oh yeah, with the short
superhero
hair.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
way
Oh yeah, the
better.
short hair looks way better.
and like just the future helmet he wears. And
Yeah,
stuff
true.
too.
And is it just me or was it awesome the moment that like
Thor
he-
came, the moment that like the Hulk came.
the
through
Hulk
door,
came through and
Thor's
Thor's
just
like,
yes!
oh, he's like yes, and the crowd just
Just
went
goes, "What?"
silent,
And they're like,
and he's
"What?"
like,
He's
we
like,
know each other.
We're
friends
friends.
from
He's from a
work.
friend from work.
Yeah, he says that.
Mhm.
And Hulk's like, I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
going to break you.
I can't think right now, buddy.
Pretty much. Either way, the movie looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait. It drops into theaters on November 3rd of this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm marking this in my calendars.
You know what I do want to wait or I can't wait to see if they do, is it gonna be like the Planet Hulk storyline where Bruce Banner is always going to be in Hulk form, or are they gonna have it where eventually they calm him down and it's
Yeah, he
gonna
was
be, it's
always
gonna be
in his
Thor
Hulk
talking to
form.
Bruce?
Yeah, because I don't think shocking and prodding him into a cage is going to work.
no, probably not.
That's a very like,
I'd laugh if how that fight ended is if he ends up calming him down, and turning him back into Bruce Banner.
He does like the
It's like, it's
he does the
okay.
Scarlett Johansson thing from Avengers 2
He
and just starts
lower
playing with his palm and he's like, oh.
the- It's okay, big fella. But no, really, I
Thor make Hulk happy. Thor, calm down now.
You know what though? I have to say though, it would be absolutely hilarious to see a scene where they actually try to like shock and prod the Hulk back into some kind of cage.
That would
I
be
mean,
interesting.
Because
No, it would be good.
because anybody like everybody who knows the Hulk knows that the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets.
yeah.
Or
Although-
I also wonder, will we see the inclusion of another Marvel hero that was often in a lot of Hulk versus Thor-esque things?
Are you talking about
Wolverine?
Doctor Strange?
I'm talking about Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, Beta Ray Bill.
Because
I-
I want.
I don't know. I just remember when they were first mentioning Thor Ragnarok. I heard there was gonna be a cameo by Doctor Strange, which I
That
think
would
would
be
be
cool.
kind
That'd
of.
be cool.
Except that I think it would also be weird. I don't know how they would incorporate Doctor Strange into a gladiator kind of.
Well,
scene.
I think they're gonna more incorporate because I mean in the trailer you see Mjolnir
Mjolnir.
because I always put the J and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir getting shattered. So I'm assuming that at some point in the film it's kind of like a search and find
Right.
thing.
It's gonna be like an
So I'm
MMO.
assuming that's part of the where Doctor Strange is gonna come in. He might be there for like the first act.
He'll
And
he'll
he's
pop
like,
back in the.
once Thor gets captured, he's like, I didn't get paid enough for this.
I didn't sign up for this.
Maybe Doctor
And he
Strange
pops
will
back
come in.
later and hands him like a hammer and says, "Here you go."
Yeah,
Maybe,
you need
maybe
fetch
he
quest,
uses the
Thor.
time stone and he uses it to reverse the hammer shattering.
It could be.
Ooh.
Does he have a time stone in the movie?
Yeah, have you seen Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was one of the
much, though.
Infinity Stones. It's the time stone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do they have like all the stones
I still have yet to
now,
see that movie.
like in the Marvel movies?
Oh, yeah, that's right, you
I
have
think
some-
they have 4 of the 5 now.
Okay.
I think it's.
I think it's 4 of the 5, or all 5 have been shown at least.
Huh.
Wait, was there
So-
5 or 6?
There's 5.
There's 5, yeah, for
There-
like
one
every
for each
knuckle.
knuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wasn't there also one that was like right in the middle of the hand?
I don't.
It's
Was it
probably just
6,
part of the
5?
gauntlet
I'm
he
Googling
wears.
this.
Yeah, you do
Give
that.
me- give me
I
just
don't
a
know.
minute,
I'm
keep
way
talking.
behind on my Marvel movies.
But so either most of them have been shown or all of them have been shown,
All but,
Yeah.
like, one or
because
two.
you had the spoiler of Thanos reaching into the machine to grab the Infinity
I
Gauntlet.
know they made the Cosmic Cube a stone too in the movies.
The
Like
what?
what was in Captain America, that
Yeah.
cube thing is now one of the stones too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Is it-
Okay.
yeah.
Oh wait. Oh dang it! I just had it, and then my Chromebook glitched on me.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
so-
thought he was
Okay,
gonna
here we
say,
go.
and I lost
There-
it, and I was
there
gonna
are
be like,
six-
"That's what he
there
said."
are 6 stones. There's the Space Stone, the Mind Stone, the Soul Stone, the Reality Stone, the Time Stone, and the Power Stone. Actually, they're gems. So gem, whatever.
Are they
Stones,
crystal
gems.
So there are 6, and I
So,
believe
okay.
4 or 5 of them have been revealed.
So it's okay. So until we have Avengers 3, which is somewhat been confirmed already, you probably won't have another Iron Man thing. You have Thor coming out.
I would
Well,
hope you
Iron
don't
Man's
have
gonna
another
be in the
Iron Man
Spider-Man.
movie.
If they
claim
do,
there's a
they need to
trilogy
do it
for
better.
each
Okay,
character.
so
Because
I know.
I'm done with the whole Iron Man movies.
I
Like the whole solo movie is it's just I'm done.
Here's the thing.
Feel
I
more
know
like
Iron.
that
was
Spider-Man.
scared for the third Thor movie because honestly I didn't like 2.
Yeah, me too.
I thought 2 was
I
a
don't
waste
remember
of
much
time.
of 2, honestly.
Exactly.
But anyways,
What event or
I was like
Iron Man?
I was on a cruise
No,
and that movie
Thor 2.
played.
oh
Mhm.
Thor 2?
Thor 2.
It's all I had
it's
to
just
watch.
it's like Dark Elves bad, make time rift, Thor fix, end movie. Thor don't remember stuff.
I like Captain America a lot. I thought the first Captain America movie was really good.
I like
I've
Winter
liked all the
Soldier
Cap
a
films
lot,
so
too.
far.
Did
I haven't seen
anybody
the second
else
one.
think it was weird how at the end of the first Thor movie he was trapped in Asgard and then all of a sudden and then he like later he reappears in the series like nothing ever happened?
Who Thor?
Yeah.
Like how did he get back to Earth?
Doctor Strange took him.
Doctor Strange wasn't a thing yet.
You
no,
don't
they
know.
Still,
He-
they,
they
still, they fixed
the
the
comics,
bridge.
maybe.
It's very
He
sure.
has a time
They
stone.
Yeah,
fixed
they
the
did fix
bridge,
the
but
bridge.
not before he
Fine.
got back to Earth.
I
Doctor
don't
Who
know.
swooped
It was the
in and
power of
delivered
love.
him.
The,
Oh my god, no, you can't do
I
that.
don't. I really don't know. But
I'd have to rewatch
either
the
way,
movies and
it's
analyze.
sure to be a good film.
You know what else is sure to be a good film?
I'm assuming it's gonna be the next Star Wars movie.
It is. It is going to be the next Star Wars movie.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? The new one. Have you guys all seen? You guys have all seen the trailer, right?
Yeah.
No, I threw it on there just completely blind with no.
I just hoped that they were making it, and I really didn't check.
right.
No, I honestly, like I've said before,
You and I watched it today.
we did.
And we're
at
sitting there.
work.
We're like, whoa,
Whoa! and we're like, whoa, and you're like, whoa, and they're like,
whoa.
no. But I've said before, Mark Hamill, who plays the Joker in Batman the Animated Series, is sounding more and more naturally like Joker. So whenever when he has like a little bit of a monologue in the trailer, and it's just like,
He just picks.
I am imagining you picking up a fake pistol and shooting Batman with a dart. I'm not imagining you as Luke Skywalker right now.
Well, if you didn't know, I think he's actually diagnosed with throat cancer now.
Is he
Somebody
really?
explained why his voice is sounding more
Jeez.
different.
I have to look this up now.
I could be
Right.
wrong. I thought I heard this a few years back. It's like why he doesn't do as much like voice acting anymore.
I hope not.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's a very, very, very talented man.
Yeah, because we already lost Carrie Fisher. You need him for at least one more movie.
Right.
Skywalker.
And they killed Han Solo, so
I
unless
know.
Han comes back,
I'm-
How's not?
I wouldn't be surprised though if they.
I wouldn't be surprised if they
From
brought
what I
Han
understand,
back.
Harrison Ford was like begging them to kill Han Solo for.
He's been
like,
begging for that
years.
since like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, he's like, just please, just kill him.
Well, it's because he knows that the second series of movies was trash.
Yeah, prequels.
Even though Han Solo wasn't even in them.
There's gonna be a prequel movie though now with him.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Han Solo solo.
Solo movie.
There's
it's
gonna be a Han
it's
Solo
it's gonna be like
solo.
Rogue One.
Probably.
It's supposed to be
Right.
like Rogue One.
It's supposed.
But
Yeah,
please
it's gonna
don't
be
have the
another
same
spin-off.
plot as
No,
Rogue
I
One,
I,
dear
I
God.
feel like if Harrison Ford, because like if they do lose Mark Hamill and they've already lost Carrie Fisher, I feel like he would return as Han Solo because they've lost so much of the original cast.
Yeah, you'd probably come back as a ghost like Obi-Wan or something.
Oh my God,
Han Solo is a Force ghost.
that reminds me of a video that I showed Lucas today. Have you guys seen Robot Chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a video that I saw a long time ago, and it was it had Jar Jar Binks in it with
Oh, I remember
Darth
that.
Vader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like
Darth
throws
Vader.
it out the window. That's
Jar Jar,
really
you
good.
have to leave now. Just throws him out the airlock.
Yeah.
He's like, if escape, wear pod, and then he
Yeah.
just closes the door, and you just see him freeze, and then later you see
And then he comes
It
back
comes
as a
back as a
ghost.
ghost.
he comes back as he goes.
And his mirror's so glowing and sparkling now. Now we have forever to hang out. Yay!
You're way too good at that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's a slight shot off of Elmo, basically.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
kind of is.
It really
It
is.
really is. But then I saw one where they took Harrison Ford in his airplane get up or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And they're flying the Millennium Falcon, and they're flying, and all of a sudden they hit Jar Jar. And Jar Jar's sticking to the thing. He's like,
Yeah.
Annie? Harrison Ford pops it out of the Millennium Falcon, tears his ear off, and like pushes him off the Millennium Falcon. Then they come back around to him, and they're sitting right in front of him, and you just see Harrison Ford going, "Punch it, Chewie!"
They
And
hit it
go,
into light
They go
speed.
into
Yeah.
light speed, nailing Jar Jar Binks with the windshield, and it's just a massive
And wait,
splatter.
what was this on?
It's just online. I'll show you after.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show
It's
us.
No, it's
awesome.
really
It's-
funny.
It's great.
Yeah, it sounds good.
It's like, oh, this is beautiful. This is exactly what
Anything
everyone
with
wanted.
Jar
to
Jar
I
and
I
Pain,
think
I'm okay with.
we realized that Jar Jar was a horrible idea.
Yeah,
We-
what was,
it-
what
you
was
know
going
what?
on
'Cause
in
what-
Lucas's mind when he made
Because
that
here's
Nothing.
Here-
that was
here's
the
the thing.
problem.
well, he tried to make it more commercial. I think was the thing. He tried to make the.
movie. I mean, like,
the,
if
the
you watch the
prequel-
documentaries, like, he literally says, like, Jar Jar is the catalyst of this film.
he really is. That's the unfortunate part.
Right.
If you go back, you're like, this Nimrod is the reason the whole entire film
He is.
even took off.
He even,
Without
like,
Jar Jar, where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
he even gives Palpatine,
Somewhere
like, his
in the jungle
powers.
still, while the droids have already shot Amidala.
Yeah.
You know what? Have you ever heard like those fan theories? One of my favorite
Jar Jar
ones.
is,
It's the
like-
most
Yeah,
ridiculous
he's-
one.
he's
Is that
a-
Jar Jar is a Sith Lord.
He's, like, behind
Jar Jar,
everything.
he's the ultimate evil, right?
I would laugh so hard.
If that became a thing, I'd be so happy.
Me
Some-
too.
Because
It somehow makes sense, though, in a crazy way.
the way they explain it, it's like, holy crap, this is entirely plausible.
He was
And
there
George
for
Lu-
all of it.
And if it is, George Lucas is a mad
Yeah.
genius.
He is
and
the smartest
everything
man on
anyone
earth.
has ever said about
He
him
played some
needs to
4D
be taken
chess.
back.
See, and it's funny because in the newest Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, you see this creature, and you really don't know what it is. What if that is some form of Jar Jar?
It's Jar Jar.
Are you talking about Snoke?
Yes.
Are you talking about the theory where
That's
Jar Jar
Jar
Binks
Jar.
is Supreme Leader Snoke?
Yes.
Oh my god. I heard about that one. I thought it was.
He just got a bunch of plastic.
I didn't hear a
surgery.
theory. I was just making my own theory.
No, that was an actual theory though.
Was it?
Yeah, that Jar Jar Binks was Supreme Leader Snoke.
See, I wouldn't put it past him. Like Lucas
Can you
said.
imagine it though, if like
What?
Ray fought Jar Jar? At, like, the end of the third
Oh
movie?
my god.
Me kill you now.
Mr. gonna chop you up in the little bits.
Use our Last Jedi no more.
And then, or what if he's gotten older, like the boss, like the leader of the Gungans
Yeah.
in episode 1.
He gets like the
He's
big
like,
neck.
Misa no think you are gonna leave and do this a fight. Misa just gonna tear your arms off and beat you with them.
Is
He
it
shakes
me
his head.
or does it? Is it just me or does it sound? Jar Jar kind of sound like a Chinese guy just sped up really fast.
It kind of
Kinda.
does.
Kinda.
It kinda-
Is that
Uh,
racist?
no, not really.
I mean,
No.
I always saw his character as kind of offensive.
Maybe just a little bit.
It's
A little bit.
No, see, we hate Jar Jar because he's Jar Jar. We don't hate him because he sounds like a sped up Asian. So it's not
No.
racist. Then.
No, we hate him because he's just a.
I'll find any reason
It's just a
to hate him.
coincidence.
It is a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
But
It's like we
Look-
don't hate Jar Jar because of the way he is. We hate Jar Jar because he's Jar Jar.
Look it up, and it's an old Asian dude that plays.
it's just
Jar
this
Jar.
old Asian guy that's just doing like face capture for the entire Star Wars movie, and they're like, oh,
Oh, it's like, oh, that's that. Never mind. Now it's kind of bad.
But
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
but anyways, Jar Jar is a catalyst to the Last Jedi. Then
So yeah, basically the entire I think the issue people have with Jar Jar, right? So it's not just that Jar Jar was the catalyst for the first movie,
Right.
right? If you put Jar Jar as the catalyst for Episode 1, he is technically the catalyst for the entire Star Wars saga.
yeah, he is.
Because of the actions of 2 or 1, the Separatists get more angry, so they start getting angrier and they fight more,
Right.
which causes the Jedi to fight the Separatists more, which then eventually causes Anakin to switch over, become Darth Vader with Emperor Palpatine, right?
Don't forget he gives Palpatine his powers too in the third movie.
He's
Like Jar Jar
This
gives
something
that
that all the
speech.
powers to go to the Supreme Chancellor.
Like thanks, Jar Jar.
You guys getting freaked out by that yet, or not?
Did
No, I thoroughly enjoy when you do that.
I've
voice.
already heard his voice in my nightmares.
Now, did anybody else notice in the background in that scene that there was like a species
Yeah,
or alien that
you
looked
can
like
hear
ET?
him yelling in the background.
Yes.
Yeah, like ET species was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then in ET, there's a scene where they're trick or treating and there's a little kid dressed up like Yoda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well,
I think isn't it 'cause Spielberg and
Yeah, he worked.
And,
that and Star Wars was very popular when
Yeah, true.
when ET was made.
Yeah, it was.
Sure. So, well, I think it Spielberg and Lucas are like really good friends.
Probably.
Yeah, they're
Probably.
like besties.
I
apparently.
wouldn't be surprised. They're both geniuses.
All
They
right.
worked on a lot of movies
So
together.
I know we've been talking about the all of Star Wars that have come before.
Yeah.
Probably should go back to the actual film at hand, though.
Right.
I know.
Okay.
So basically, what it looks like in the
New trailer.
new trailer, Han Solo's dead. They found Luke, and
Now-
somehow, even though Carrie Fisher's dead, they're gonna do what they did like in Rogue One, and they're gonna.
Yeah,
No, I
it's-
think they
Well,
had
no, no,
enough.
They
I
already
think
had
or
most
sh-
of it filmed.
Oh yeah,
They-
she,
they
yeah,
had
she
most
already
of
had
it
mo-
filmed.
No,
yeah.
actually, I think they had all of it filmed.
But
I
she,
hope so.
They're
she
probably
is
gonna,
not
have
going
a-
to appear
In
in
9.
in 9.
Yeah, she's not gonna be in the
Yeah,
next.
so they're gonna find some way to
It-
like.
It
solve
was
that.
funny. I saw this article today and it says Carrie Fisher's not going to appear in 9, and I'm like, no crap.
I know, right?
Like,
Okay, so basically throughout the rest of the trailer, it's just like little vignettes of
Basically, bits
things
and
that
pieces.
happen.
Yeah.
It's Ray finding Luke, and Luke, you know,
It didn't
Training
answer
her.
what
Training.
Yeah.
training, and he's like, reach out, feel the force, and he asks her, "What do you feel?" And she's like, "Light, dark, the balance." I'm like, that's tacky.
Yeah, it
But,
was.
well, okay, so here's my question.
Okay.
The name of this movie is The Last Jedi. Okay?
Yep.
Now, if she becomes a Jedi,
She's
he's not the Last Jedi anymore.
Well, you
But
know
then
what else
she's
is kind
supposed
of.
to be the Last Jedi.
You know what
But
else is kind of weird?
there's two because there's him and her.
Well, I don't think he's gonna last long.
Well, here's the
for,
thing: if you even
Luke
if you
Skywalker.
actually watch the trailer towards the end, when they say that
did watch the
something
trailer.
about the Jedi has to come to an end, it's Luke
Yeah.
who's saying it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like,
The Jedi has
there's
to
one
come
thing
to
I
an
know:
end.
the Jedi must come to an end.
I missed
And-
that.
It's
Yeah,
probably gonna be like a
It's literally
Yoda
him saying
scenario. Like he doesn't want a trainer for like the first half of the movie.
it's so weird
He's
put it
gonna
that
go
way.
rogue.
because
Get it?
Rogue.
Get it?
Nah.
A Luke
I don't
Skywalker
like you.
story.
Yeah,
I
so
will laugh so hard if this turns on into like some kind of wax on, wax off deal.
basically,
It probably will.
so throughout the rest of the trailer, just little vignettes of the last movie, looking at the crushed Darth Vader helmet from the episode.
That was really cool.
7.
yeah,
Kylo, all that stuff.
they answered one of my
Seeing
theories too.
Finn and what's the Poe,
yeah,
the other
Right.
the X-wing pilot or whatever. You know what I didn't like hearing? I don't know. It's not because I don't like it, but I just find it weird to just include the detail. Is that those two is rumored, at least? I don't know if it's going to happen. You know, someone wanted to turn them into a gay couple.
yeah. People
Oh,
are
wait,
like
are you
shipping
talking about
it in
Poe
the
and Finn?
fan base.
Poe and Finn, yeah,
Yeah, the Poe Finn ship.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's-
Or
I-
Finpo.
which I was sitting there going like, I don't mind if they were.
Yeah,
I'm
I
okay
don't
with
care.
that. That's cool.
See,
But just don't add it
Don't
into
make
a
it a huge deal.
Yeah,
don't
don't
make it a huge
don't
deal, but
force
don't
it
add,
in.
don't
Here's-
add it into a movie after you've already had a weird kind of friend crush ship with
with Ray.
with Ray. And I know
Yeah.
obviously, well, he could be bisexual, Well, great, but then you need to kind of show that
Yeah.
throughout the first
See,
movie.
my
Uh-huh.
problem is because I don't care whether there's gay, straight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The problem is it's in everything.
True.
Anything you watch, there is.
Star Trek did it. Or they were going to. They were going to make Sulu gay because
They did make him gay.
no,
They didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
because the original actor George Takei
Right.
was gay, and they even
Oh
asked him what his
my.
opinion was. They even asked him his opinion of it, and he's like, "No, don't do that. Sulu is already an established character. If you want to throw in a gay character, that is totally fine, but make it a new character. Don't
Which I was
change
surprised
an
George
already
Takei said
existing
that,
character."
but-
And I respect him so much for that.
Well,
Yeah.
and me too, because like I said, it is thrown in everything, and I feel like there's things that okay, we don't really need any more going on in Star Wars. There's already a lot going on,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
and then you're
just-
just gonna
yeah.
throw some random gay dude or get some gay couple in the middle. It's like no.
I mean, just in stories in general, like whether it's a movie, TV show, whatever, how many times is a romance subplot really necessary?
It's not. For most action films, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the original Star Wars. You had kissing brother and sister Luke and Leia,
Yeah.
which eventually
It
they
always
were like,
throws
"Hey,
me
let's go a
off.
completely different direction with this." But people in the theaters are going, "They kissed."
Yeah.
Right.
But eventually it was like, okay, well, Luke and Leia obviously are a thing, and then it was kind of random that Han and Leia got together at the very.
Yeah.
It was kind of random. I mean, it was kind of you could see it going that way because
Right.
of how often they were together, but it was still kind of random. But as far as this goes, if you wanted to make Finn gay or Poe gay, great.
hmm
I'm totally for it. Do it, but do it in the first movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the awkward bro hug that they share is not an indicator of if these two like each
Yeah.
other.
Friends hug.
Well,
Yeah,
and
brothers got a hug, and
It's like, hug me, brother.
but
what are we in Drake and Josh now?
Exactly.
Jake.
Joe
yeah,
and Finn.
if you're gonna make it, do it early on. Establish it, and then let it roll from there. Don't
Don't change an already existing character.
throw it in just for
See, and that
popularity.
and that's the problem. It's so casually thrown in.
Yeah.
It doesn't even
everywhere.
make it a good.
It doesn't
story.
make it sense. It doesn't make any sense
No.
half the time. They're like, oh well, times are changing. Let's throw it in.
Uh-huh.
No. If you're gonna do it, do it from the beginning.
Do it right.
And
If
per,
you're,
yeah.
and actually build the character. Don't just throw some or make some characters that you've already established.
Yeah.
It's all
gay
about
because
consistency,
right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
continuity.
Or
it's the same reason why when they have signs called hot sets when they're actually filming things.
yeah.
Because they don't want you to walk on and move a book, move a chair, because they want it exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
So they can film the same scene 50,000 times.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of the same way when you watch a movie and you see people eating.
Yeah.
There's like a whole pizza there, and then by the time the scene's done, there's still a whole pizza there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's eaten like 5 pieces.
Unless you're Chris Pratt on the stage for Parks and Rec. Did you ever hear about what he did?
No.
So
What do you do? I
when-
love that show.
So back when he was fat Chris Pratt, right before
Right.
muscles and
Fat
stuff.
Pratt.
Fat Pratt. There you go. Whenever they would
I
have
dubbed the fat Pratt.
whenever they would have eating scenes, usually you have a spit bucket, right?
Right.
So like, okay, cut, whatever.
Right.
But Chris wouldn't stop eating. Like if there was a burger, like they interviewed
would be
Aziz
me.
Ansari, who was part of the cast too. They interviewed him and he said, "Listen, if you see a scene with Chris Pratt eating a burger, you better believe that there have been 5 burgers that have been eaten before that scene was okayed, because the man would eat a burger the entire time. He would never spit it out into a
That
food
sounds
bucket."
amazing.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
Spirit
way to
animal.
go, Chris Pratt.
Spirit animal.
Well, and it's kind of like somebody pointed this out to me, and it bugs me to this day now. In the movie Drumline, if
Yeah.
you watch when he's eating the burger, it's about half gone when the girl walks up, and when
Yeah.
she leaves, there's like 2 bites taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at that stuff a lot in movies, like jump takes.
I
when
try-
someone's
it's like
I
a
tried not
regenerating
to.
burger.
I try not to, but since I've been to specs and I took a film class in school, films are ruined for me. I'll sit there and I'll go, that pizza, he ate 5 slices, and there's only 1 slice taken off
Yeah.
of there.
Or it's
There's
like,
a problem here.
There's
But there's a
continuity
scene
errors
like that in a
everywhere. Right.
Fantastic Four movie too. They had like a plate of scones or something on the table, Like there's one jump cut, and just like one of them is gone. All of a sudden, it's like, who ate that?
The Flash.
Or it's like in Jurassic Park where the T-Rex breaks through the fence and steps over it,
Yeah.
and then proceeds to push the car over the same spot, which is now suddenly a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
That stuff. You're like, wait a minute. I thought
Yeah,
no.
T-Rex can climb, right?
T-Rex is just lighter than a tree branch, so that's why.
See, he can actually stretch his arms like really far. They only look small.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought of a joke that Jeff Foxworthy told.
What?
And he said the reason that T-Rexes are angry is because their arms are so short they can't touch their wiener.
That's true.
He said, I guarantee you.
It's like whenever you're sad, just think of a T-Rex trying to make a bed.
The only thing they're good for is playing the ukulele. The T-Rex.
I still love the movie. I think it was like Meet the Robinsons when they had that.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I still picture that, like, and and this is kind of mean, but my girlfriend, she jokes about this all the time because she's like, I have a normal sized torso.
Yep.
And short legs and arms.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I can't reach, and I'm like, I've got a big head.
I bet she absolutely loves you when you do that.
No, but it's funny because I say that and she thinks of the movie and starts laughing because she knows, like. But it's funny because she knows she's got shorter arms than
Yeah.
she should have.
Yeah.
And so she can joke about it, and so I like, so we both kind of kid about it, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we both think about the movie.
Nice.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's Star Wars episode
Yeah.
8 trailer.
When you talk about that trailer too, like only one of the few things I really got out of it was answered one of the things I thought about watching the first movie, and
It was
it's like,
Kylo Ren, wasn't it?
yeah, he doesn't have a mask anymore.
Yeah.
Because I remember he
to
like
be
drops
perfectly-
it in like Force Awakens over that bridge. No way you could get that back.
To be perfectly honest, when I was watching Star Wars Episode 7, I was like, oh gosh, this guy is like another Darth Vader.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
You know,
Then
and
he
maybe not
ditches the
necessarily like
mask.
maybe not necessarily of like being a robot necessarily,
Right.
but some kind of like mask wearing villain that I didn't know if I was going to see his face.
Yeah.
Right. So when the scene comes where he's like, and it's slowly coming off, and I'm waiting for the reveal. I'm waiting for this,
Ugly,
and I'm saying ugly, but like,
mutilated.
not even mutilated. Not like I'm necessarily
Just-
like looking for someone that's messed
It's
up
like
looking.
intimidating.
And to me, I get a punked
Yeah.
out British teenager as my main villain.
Yeah.
I love my grandfather. He's dead. And that's the exact Kylo Ren that we got. I was like, can
Yeah.
we please?
It's like temper tantrums and all.
Kylo Ren without his mask is like if the dark side had to prep goths.
I'm sorry, my favorite part of that movie, my favorite scene is when you get the two stormtroopers and they're walking around the corner, and then
Yeah.
they see that he's just like throwing a fit in the room, and they just turn around
Turn
and walk away.
180
It
to
totally is like an emo thing to do for Kylo Ren. It's like destroy his room.
You know what was
Exactly.
funny? When you were talking about how Kylo Ren took off his helmet and you had like the whole like shh, and it took
Yeah.
forever. It made me think of the how like Darth Vader when they did the whole like when they were putting it on, then it's like
Yeah.
shh. And in that clip that I was telling you about earlier when Jar Jar Binks was in there,
Mm-hmm.
he grabbed Darth Vader's helmet and ripped it off and goes, ah!
Oh,
And
yeah.
then slams it-
what's wrong with your phone?
and then slams it back down. And that's all I can think of when I hear the shh. And then you're talking about like a
Think of
helmet.
Jar
movie.
Jar.
I think of Jar Jar like,
But
Annie, what happened?
but
Ah!
here's to hoping that the Kylo Ren the character gets something a little more than angsty teenager vibe.
Yeah.
Like a haircut.
A
He needs a
haircut.
haircut.
I was fine with the haircut. It was the big nose and big ears and like incredibly pointed chin. Like he didn't look. He looked like a Disney villain, not a Star Wars
I
villain.
thought he was gonna
Hey,
drop
hey,
some.
hey.
I kn-
Disney owns Star
I
Wars
know,
now.
and therein lies an issue there, don't you think?
I thought Kylo was gonna drop some slam poetry. And he runs into Han Solo in the bridge.
He's just sitting there going, Dad, you made me feel bad. Now I'm sad. hug me.
You can't tell my emotions.
You
'Cause I
can't.
hide them inside.
he just starts
With
getting
the
angry,
mask.
angrier and angrier. But did you hear about the fan theory with that scene actually?
No,
No.
I haven't.
No.
Do you mean
So-
one of like how he helps him kill?
Yeah, how he helps it. Well, how Han helps him
Oh,
kill.
you know what? I think I have heard
him.
this, but continue.
So basically, what it if it's obviously not yet confirmed or anything, it's just fan theory. But the idea is if you look at how like they're kind of fiddling with their arms throughout the entire scene,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of looks like right before he's about to stab him,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like Han is reaching down to help him because he knows the only way that Kylo
Yeah, like he
can get
pushes the
freed from
lightsaber
the anger
towards him.
that's inside him is to kill him.
Right.
Like kind of like a reverse Anakin Skywalker, where
Yeah.
instead of "don't kill the guys, Annie," it's "you need to kill your dad in order to stop being angry,"
Right.
which is confusing. But
It's reverse psychology.
Exactly.
That's just how great of a
But-
relationship they have.
It was Han basically helping him guide the lightsaber up to stab him in the gut
Oh.
at the very end. So everyone's freaking out. They're like, "Kylo is such a monster." It's really like, no, it's like Han helping his son out.
I actually see that. I could see that.
And I like that. And I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that theory. It sounds like a good because that could be like plot twist. Kylo's a good guy, but I'm
I
sure
think
they're not
that-
going to take it that way.
I think this is where this is running. Honestly,
I hope it is.
if you think about it, what would happen if Kylo Ren were to switch,
I mean, I
turn
really
into
don't
a
want-
Jedi, and you had
to be perfect,
Luke turn into the villain?
well, here's
That'd be kind of cool, but still, I like if Kylo stayed as a bad guy in these films. Like, I don't want it to like be exactly like the original trilogy.
Oh, you don't think
I
it's
would-
gonna end with Rey and Kylo like fighting Snoke together?
I think it will most likely.
It might, which I wouldn't mind because if you look at like the extended universe for Star Wars,
Right.
there's a whole bunch of Leias and mini
Yeah.
Hans and mini
I mean,
Lukes running around,
Rey
right?
and Kylo even based off of like the twins in the books.
Yeah. So which eventually one of Han's sons does get killed
Yeah.
because he turns to be a Sith.
Right.
What do you guys think of the fan theory about Rey being a Kenobi?
That would be awesome.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
That was one that I really supported.
I
What
think
did
she
hear about
Jawa
that.
did
That
Obi-Wan screw on Tatooine?
Not only that, but how did they get from
Or-
Tatooine to Jakku?
I actually, you know what? I thought a better one. What if it was a sand person? What is
Yeah,
that?
sand
I can
person.
only imagine how that ended.
Honey, take off the mask.
Talk to me.
Oh, that's your language. Crap.
I thought you were
just
just
yelled at
nagging
your
all these
mask.
times.
No, you were really enjoying it? Oh, that's great.
Oh my god.
Or what if like Obi-Wan even got like a Jabba the Hutt alien?
Oh my god.
no.
You had to
Oh,
go.
you had to
there.
go with Jabba.
Oh.
So uncivilized.
But no, that'd be awesome to have Rey
Yeah.
being Obi-Wan.
I think it's either that or
Like,
she's Luke's
that's
kid.
Now, what about
sure.
this? We were talking earlier about how you said it was Luke Skywalker saying that the Jedi must end.
Yes.
What if that was taken out of context?
It probably was.
Well, I mean, it's a trailer, so I'm sure it's supposed to be a 180.
No,
Yeah, I
but that's what I mean. Like,
It's part of a longer monologue where he's like, and at one point I thought the Jedi must end.
right,
Yeah.
I
and
thought
then you realize that
it's
that's-
just him going, but
Yeah.
but
I think I really need to train you because Snoke is a bad person.
or it could have been people thought that the Jedi's must
It's a
die
context trick.
in order to
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people are gonna go, oh my god, what? And then they're gonna go and see the movie and be like, oh, okay.
One thing I do want of these movies too is I hope they like delve more into the Snoke character
Me too.
in like a good way, because right now I think he's even more bland than like Palpatine.
He was. I mean, I think they're trying to make him a little. Obviously, he's kind of horrific looking to begin
Yeah,
with.
I like hope he
So-
actually is a giant.
Well, none of the
like,
characters in
hologram.
Star Wars were
Yeah,
terrific looking. I mean,
You
we've
know-
got Jabba the
I
Hutt.
said horrific.
A lot
Oh,
of people
okay.
didn't even realize that Snoke was a hologram. A lot of people actually thought he was like
Yeah,
giant.
they
Giant,
tease you,
yeah.
but I hope he stays like a giant in real life.
He's actually a gigantic cute.
Then
like,
I would be
thing.
okay with like a fight scene between like Rey and like a giant
cool.
Snoke.
Yeah, but
Can you
then-
imagine his lightsaber?
I hope he doesn't have a lightsaber.
Now you're going into the realm of God of War
I
kind
know,
of style
right?
fights because you have very small people versus very large people.
That'd be cool though.
But it'd be cool to get Snoke some kind of not like a massive like backstory, but because like I think in the issue
Yeah, I don't want to know too much.
Yeah,
about him.
if you get too much, you end up with the first episode where everyone's like, "That's Palpatine." You
Yeah.
can tell because there's a butt chin. And
And he's like the only old guy in this whole movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All these
So-
guys are young,
Yeah,
young
and then
strapping
you got the
lads,
one
and
guy
then you
with
got
the
the
gray
really
hair.
old dude in the corner.
And he talks like this.
somebody please get me a throat lozenge.
I'm the good guy.
I really could help, but if I don't get that lozenge, I may have to kill you. So, but that in a nutshell is our theories about the upcoming Star Wars film.
And there is a lot more probably to come
Hopefully.
until this movie comes out.
Until the end of our lives, we're always
Yeah,
gonna see
until the end of
Star
our
Wars
lives.
Yeah, I
movies.
feel like Star Wars is just
even
gonna
after
keep
this
going.
trilogy.
It's just gonna keep going until people stop watching, and people won't stop watching.
No.
No,
There's always gonna be new Star Wars.
It could be
content.
horrific.
Star Wars
and
Episode 37.
like
Wait, I told you this one. Someone made fun of you. Keep talking because I gotta find
Okay.
this.
No, but what I was saying was, like, even if it's horrific, and then I thought about it, and I'm like the prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels were horrific. Like, as a kid, I'm like, oh yeah, these are cool, and I had already seen the originals, and then as an adult, I'm like, no. It's kind of like the Power Rangers. As a kid, you're like, yes, and then you get older, you're like, no.
I was like the same way with like Dragon Ball. As you get older, you try and watch those shows. You're like, it doesn't
It's
hold
really
up.
funny because when I was in middle school, I was over the whole Dragon Ball thing, and then there were sixth graders sitting in the back of the bus, going Kamehameha
Yeah.
the whole bus ride home. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna punch you in the face if you don't stop.
I'm about to go Kaioken ×3 on you.
I'm gonna turn into a Super Saiyan and beat
All right,
whoop your butt.
I can't find the actual quote. I told you about this.
Did you?
A while. Yeah, it was when we were at our internship one morning.
Right.
Someone had made a little thing about it was like a meme kind of with meme print, but it wasn't a meme. It was like Hollywood always told us that you couldn't make A-list movies with women or minorities, and then it shows, but Star Wars did, and someone took that and then did a little comment underneath. It's like Star Wars literally could have been Space Hitler killing her Jewish Jedi. Now the entire thing, and people would have still gone and watched this movie
Yeah.
because it's Star Wars.
It's
I know,
kind of like
right?
the Fast
You
and
know
the
what?
Furious
I
franchise.
think I heard about this.
Yeah.
It's
It was
kind of like the Fast and the Furious franchise.
You know, I saw go ahead.
That series will probably never die because of the unique
appeal it brings.
appeal, but you've also got like that family setting. Like all the characters really blend well together.
Mhm.
And when you get something like that, as long as you keep making it doesn't matter what the movie's about. As long as
You have
you
your
have that
formula.
same cast and you have that right formula. And it took them a long time to find it. I mean, if you look through the movies, you've got the first movie which did really well. They're like, okay, it's all about Paul Walker. So then they threw him in a movie with some random dude.
It's like not about
And then everybody's like, no. And they're like, okay, that didn't work. It's about the cars and the girls. Let's make so they made one about cars and girls, which is
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, because that would be 3.
I heard that's the best one too.
No.
It's actually I
It's
like
not
Tokyo.
bad, but it's not the
Tokyo Drift is
best.
good. I like Tokyo Drift, but it irritates me that it's not where it belongs.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so then they're like, okay, not about just girls and cars, and then that's when they kind of brought back.
The people.
And,
The
and
cast.
it was funny because they brought back everybody that I liked, like the guy from the second one that always ate everything.
Oh yeah, Tyrese.
I love
Or
him.
Roman.
He was my favorite. And then you had the guy from Tokyo Drift. What's his name? It was Han? Han. They brought Han in. So like they pretty much had a collection of everybody's favorite character, or at least my favorite characters. And then they brought back the original cast and it all blended really well.
Mm-hmm.
And since then they've been
Doing
taken
great.
off.
Yep.
And so I think that they're going to do, because they're set to do another 3 movies. The one that just came out plus 2 more.
I saw this funny picture earlier. It was captioned Fast and Furious 15, and it showed like a
15.
spaceship from like Prometheus
Like
or
they're
something
just
in space,
tracing
and then
spaceships.
like somebody cut and pasted the Dom's charger with him standing on top of it, like.
And there'd be a CGI Paul Walker. Like with Leia, his mouth like moves.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No, anyway, but
Yeah.
no, but it's kind of the same thing. You've
Yeah.
got Star Wars, you've got Star Trek, you've got Fast and the Furious. Those are all things that will never die. People will continue to watch movies no matter if they are complete and utter crap.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it
just look at.
depends on the movie though.
Well, I was about
it-
to say, just look
No,
at other
I mean,
franchises.
like I said, there are certain movies. Like I said, Fast and the Furious, and the ones that I just listed off. Those are ones that are probably never get old. It's going to be the studio going, okay, we're not pouring any more money into this. But I think every time they put out a new movie, it's going to make a lot of money because everybody's going to want to go and see it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You remember how many Land Before Times they made, right? In, like, that
Yes.
series?
Like 14.
Yeah,
And they were
like
really
almost
good.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah, they should have won the Grammy, man.
That's music.
That was such a weird transition. You go from like a dark movie to like a family musical. And, like,
Right.
this
True.
level.
Pretty much.
But I think, all in all, Star Wars
Is awesome.
is going to be an A+.
I hope they also do a musical in the third
No,
movie.
don't even go on that road.
Wasn't it originally classified as like a space opera?
Yeah,
That's-
make it a
that's-
literal
there's
space
there's
opera.
a difference. It's called a space opera because of the
It's like the wide
format
shots and
of it.
stuff.
It's not so much
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
musical part
right.
of it.
It
But
was more the format.
So we didn't make time for it this week, and I'm assigning all of you homework if you're going to come back next week to watch the new Fast and Furious movie.
I'll be seeing it this week.
Because we were going to talk about it because it broke records. I mean, it
Fate of the Furious.
beat out. I'm pretty sure it beat out Star Wars.
It did.
Wow.
It did.
Yep.
It beat
I
out Star
remember.
Wars.
I remember because Kyle from our class was he made a status about it and how he was surprised that it beat out Star Wars.
I'm not. Honestly, I'm not because it has, like I said, it has that following.
Well,
that
you know
it's
what
just-
it was. Everybody was curious on what they're gonna do about Paul Walker in it.
Well,
That's
not
one
just
of the big. That was a big driving force.
no,
behind it.
not just
There
that.
was there was a lot of factors. Don't
the
get me wrong.
storyline. I mean, Dom turning on his own people. That was one of the last things anybody would have ever thought would have happened in the franchise.
Yep. But you know what else? It's that scene in it where like they're driving through the city or whatever like that, and like the lady, the bad lady, she literally takes control of all the cars in the city
mhm.
and like drives them through buildings and all that stuff, just
Right.
like trying to wreck them. I can't wait to see that.
See, and I thought I didn't think that they could get any better than jumping a car from a building to a building.
Nope.
So-
they just did. They get better
Are
every.
they doing parkour with the cars now?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, any final thoughts?
No, I think I'm good.
I just really hope I like the new Star Wars more than the last one.
You
Force
will.
Awakens.
You will.
Because I had my issues with it still.
You're gonna have your issues with a lot of them because
Oh,
none
yeah.
of them are gonna be the
Star
original.
Wars is like a sensitive subject.
Yes. Lucas.
Space Nazis are bad.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, guys. I think that's pretty much wraps it up. Like I do every week, I just want to inform you. All of the links for everything that we talked about today is going to be in the description below. Mark promised that he was going to post some stuff on the page, so he better do that.
I didn't promise anything, but
Yes,
yes,
you
I
did.
will. I
You
will.
said
though.
I will post stuff on the page. That is a promise.
I never said I
I
promise.
have it
You
recorded.
made a blood pact.
I don't
Okay.
think I.
Anyway.
I don't think I said the word promise, but I will post stuff on the page.
Anyway, so you can check that out on our Topic Talks Facebook page. While you're there, just hit the like button. Give us a like there. If you want to follow the link, or if you're listening to the show, it'll take you to Spreaker.com. Like us there too. I really do look at. I am trying to get those up as well. We're doing really good with our Facebook, so I want to try to get our Spreaker account there as well. Like always, I am still trying to work on Twitter because I don't tweet or anything of the sort. So I'm still trying to figure
You
out all
don't
that kind of
twaddle?
stuff. I'm not on Twaddle.
You don't Twitter twatter?
No. So
What about you, Twitface?
not at all. So I am still
send you a
working.
twitpic.
So I am still working on that. I've been debating whether to do an Instagram. So if there's some form of social media that we don't have that you guys would like us to have, let us know. If there's a topic we talk about that you like, one that you don't like, give us your feedback. That's what the show is pretty much founded on. Besides the happy stories at the beginning, if you want us to do more of those, let us know. If you want us to do more movies, let us know. If we're skipping over, if Mark's reading too much, tell us that too. Because I have heard that, so work on that.
Yeah, no, I'm working on that.
Anyway, so any comments, good, bad, or otherwise, please, you can personal message me. Mark probably doesn't care. I don't know about Lucas or anybody else, but
No one knows me.
Nobody
you-
cares.
but
don't
if
care
you
about
or you
anything.
can hit us up on the Topic Talks Facebook page, or through Spreaker.com. You can always comment during the show. I am always trying to look at the comments, making sure if there is one, I bring it up during the show. If you don't want me to bring anything up during the show, just say, hey, don't bring this up, or don't say my name, but here's my opinion, and I'll share your opinion without sharing your name.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much it for me. Let's go with Lucas and work our way around the room.
All right, guys. I'm Luke. Don't go on Tumblr.
And I'm Mark. You always hear me here.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Aaron Klingsmith, signing off. Welcome to Topic Talks, where we talk about the topics you care about and leave out the ones you don't.
We talk about what most news sources don't: media, movies, and the multiverse.
We even invite guests to come talk topics with us.
Come join in on the fun.
Let's get started.